15 years ago, we had a record amount of snowfall in North Texas, and some parts of the Metroplex saw more than 15 inches of snow. So we're going to take you back and show you the full WFAA broadcast from February 2010.
And good afternoon to you. I'm Shelley Slater. Snow, as you know, is piling up across North Texas, and it is going to continue for the rest of the night. We have now learned that Fort Worth ISD and DeSoto ISD and Eagle Mountain Saginaw have now canceled classes for tomorrow. So watch for the bottom of the screen for other school closings throughout the night. And of course, tune in at 10 o'clock tonight to the update. Certainly we'll have more for you then. We want to get straight over to Pete Delkus in our weather center and talk about the many inches we're seeing, up to 8 inches in some places, Pete.
Well, I tell you what, that's absolutely right, Shelley. As a matter of fact, I just talked to the Weather Service and they had a report come in out of Springtown. Springtown's now reporting 9 inches of snow, so we have had some very, very impressive snowfall totals. And as you take a look at News 8 Doppler, the snow, there it is. It continues to come down. I want you to know this is not going to end for about another, let's see, it's 3 o'clock. We have about another 12 hours of snow in our forecast. These gray areas on News 8 Doppler, of course, we're all looking at the white, but the darker shaded areas, that's moderate to at times heavy snow. So we have that in place. Down around Itasca, Italy, also around Ennis, we're seeing a rain-snow mix. Even a few pellets of sleet are mixed in. But the entire Dallas-Fort Worth area right now, anywhere from Montague, Bowie on over toward Jacksboro. Jack County has picked up 7 to 8, almost 9 inches of snow there. Mineral Wells about 7 to 8 inches of snow. But all of these areas, moderate snow continues to fall. Let's zoom out. Let me show you how widespread this precipitation is, because it extends all the way down near the Big Bend region, just to the southwest of San Antonio. This will continue to stream from the southwest to the northeast as we head through tonight. So the snow that you're looking at right now, just add to it as we head through the next 10 to 12, maybe 13 hours. For example, Samantha Foster in the Colony, she called in and reported 7 inches of snow. Gail Smith up in Nocona, she's picked up 6 inches. Doug Everett in Saginaw, 6 inches of snow. And Ed Slimp in Denton, just north of downtown Denton, Ed told me that he picked up 6 inches of snow as well. So my thanks to all of our weather team volunteers. There's WeatherBug. Frisco Safety Town. It's cold out there. It's a pretty picture on WeatherBug, though. The temperature is 32 degrees, east winds at 7, and a wind chill of 25 degrees. So cold temperatures indeed. And speaking of cold and obviously the snow, we have our own Steve McCauley. Steve is over at Victory Park out in the plaza. Steve, tell us what you're seeing there and how cold it is.
Well, I tell you what, Pete, this really reminds me of some childhood memories that I had growing up in the hills of West Virginia. I mean, this is real snow, not the itty-bitty little snowflakes we often see here in North Texas where you have to kind of squint to see them. This is some real snow, very heavy, wet, accumulating snow out there right now. Some of these flakes are about the size of $50, if you can remember what those look like. And I tell you what, with several more hours to go, we're going to still continue to pile up at least 1 to 3 more inches, and in some places, maybe even a little bit more. And we're watching the radar very closely to see if we see any thunder snows. I mean, conditions are somewhat favorable to get some convection, some vigorous updrafts in some of these snow clouds, and I wouldn't be surprised, maybe 1 or 2 lightning strikes, and that could put down some very heavy snow in a very brief amount of time. But right now, it is very, very pretty out here, but I have to tell you, as temperatures start dropping later on tonight and into tomorrow morning, things are going to be really icing up. I didn't have any problems driving out on the roads today, but I think later on tonight and tomorrow morning, that will be a completely different story. Pete?
Thanks, Steve, for that update. And I have that timeline, temperature forecast I'll have in just a second, and I'll detail just exactly what Steve was referring to. But the other part of the equation for us, it's the snow. When will it end? Well, at 6 o'clock tonight, snow is still in place across North Texas. At 9 o'clock, it's there. At midnight, we're starting to see it wind down. But look, it's still from Wichita Falls to Graham down to Brownwood and then points east. So the snow is still in place at midnight. By 6 o'clock in the morning, I don't believe, at least in the immediate Dallas-Fort Worth area, anything will be falling from the sky. But look what's happening in East Texas. At 6 in the morning, snow will still be falling. Accumulations will still be had. So how much are we going to pick up on top of what we've already had? Well, an additional several inches, as Steve mentioned, 2, 3, maybe 4 inches, which will give us a grand total, but by the time it's all said and done, around 6 or 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 inches here in the immediate Dallas-Fort Worth area. Higher amounts off to the northwest, Gainesville to Bridgeport, Mineral General Wells and Graham, 9, 10, maybe 11 inches of snow, and then off to the east, lighter amounts. You head down around Palestine, Jacksonville, Nacogdoches, you'll have around an inch or so of snow, and then slightly higher amounts the farther to the north and northwest that you head. So please take note of that. Otherwise, we continue to hover right around the freezing mark. Right now, we're at 33 degrees. We have an east wind at 5, so just a little bit of a wind chill. It feels like it's 29. And I want you to know this. There's a winter storm warning in effect right now. We will keep a winter storm warning in our forecast until the midnight hour tonight. Light snow will continue to stay the case. Light to moderate this afternoon. Just light this evening with an additional 1 to 2. Some locations may pick up an additional 2 to 4 as we head through tonight. Tomorrow's going to be cloudy most of the day. I think a little bit of late day sunshine and a high temperature tomorrow of 37. So a cold night tonight, a cold day tomorrow. Check out these pictures from some folks that have sent them in. Rebecca Welter from McKinney. She sent this picture to us. My thanks to Rebecca. That's a great picture of the snow-covered ground up in McKinney. The next one, Fort Worth. Jerry Sirkelli sent this one to us. My thanks to Jerry. A beautiful, beautiful picture in Fort Worth. And the next picture, and our last one, is out of DeSoto. Daryl Franklin sent this one in. Look at the snowfall there. 5 inches of snow Daryl measured in his yard in DeSoto. So my thanks to everyone. I have a lot of pictures. I'm going to do my best to get to those as we head through the next several hours here. Otherwise, that's a live picture that we were looking at. Let's go back to that. A live picture that we're looking at there in downtown Dallas. The Belo building. You can see the park across the street. A beautiful, beautiful picture, but late tonight and tomorrow morning, things are going to change. Right now, we're at 33 degrees. At 6 o'clock tonight, we're going to drop to freezing. I believe that's the beginning of some pretty serious travel problems across North Texas. At midnight, we'll drop to 31 degrees, and then by 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, we will drop to 30 degrees. So some issues for people as they head home here during the evening rush, and I think some pretty serious problems for folks as they head out to work tomorrow morning. So we want you to stay with us as we head through not only the rest of this afternoon, but also through the evening and then tomorrow morning. Of course, problems on area roadways. We're going to go to TxDOT right now. Is that right, Megan? We are going to head to TxDOT right now, and we're going to get an update. And tell us what we're seeing out there.
This is Michelle.
Michelle, how are you? Pete Delkus here.
I'm great. What we're seeing out there is still a lot of slush, and we've got a lot of trucks out. They're running through the slush to help keep it broken up. That's very important at this time. And some places we are putting down some de-icing stone and sand and basically continuing to monitor the situation. But we do have crews out in every area.
Well, Michelle, I came in real early this morning. I was out on the roads taking the kids to school just like a number of folks were. I saw trucks all over the place. So you guys have been prepared for this. We know you're prepared. Tell me about some of the problems that you're encountering right now, what you guys have seen.
Right now, traffic has been flowing very smoothly, and that's great. And so, therefore, we've just been driving the roads and seeing if anything is accumulating, monitoring the shoulders. We've had a little bit of accumulation on the shoulders, so we've treated some of the shoulders to keep that accumulation down. What we are going to be doing is, as motorists are on the roadway during rush hour, that will help keep that slush broken up, and that's actually going to be good. People need to be cautious, but they also need to be aware that that's going to help the situation. Now, later on, after the traffic dies down a lot, is when we're going to start to see freezing, and we're going to see that water start to freeze, and we'll be out with the trucks then with the sand and the de-icing stone in all of our usual places.
Well, Michelle, we certainly appreciate that update. Michelle Relford with TxDOT, thank you for that. And glad to know that TxDOT has made the correct preparations just in case things start to ice up for us, and we certainly believe that they will. You're looking at a live picture right now. This is in downtown Dallas at Young Street, and you're looking at moderate snow continuing to fall. We have picked up anywhere from 5 to 8 inches across the area. Springtown has picked up 9 inches of snow, and we are officially right now at DFW, the 3 o'clock observation. We have 6.2 inches of snow. The one-day record for DFW is 7.8, and I believe that we're either going to hit that record for a day of snowfall here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or we're going to surpass it. Now, we'll be back in a couple of minutes. We'll have more on the forecast, more on area roadways, what it means for the evening commute, and tomorrow morning's rush hour.
All right, Fort Worth ISD has already canceled classes for tomorrow. If you haven't heard, they're seeing anywhere between 4 to 7 inches there.
I know, lots of snow falling and heavy right now, and our Chris Haas is in it right now in Tarrant County. Chris?
Been watching it come down. I feel like we've already had another couple of inches out here. We were out here about 2 hours ago and we had 5 inches. So let's walk over here and see what it's like right now. And we look, if you can kind of get a shot of this, Will Hicks, our photojournalist. Yep, right now it looks like about 5.5, and this is probably one of the shallower areas here. And just so that you'll know where we are, we're over here at Summit, just off of I-30. Downtown, central downtown would be more, well, the way that we're zooming the camera right now. If you look at this intersection at Lancaster and Summit, we've been seeing some traffic problems probably in the last half hour where we've been waiting to talk to you guys. Earlier, it really didn't seem to be a problem. A lot of slush, a lot of snow, but no ice. But now in the last half hour, we've seen some cars when they try to make the turn spin out. So I'm assuming there must be some icy patches there. And now, Will, if you don't mind, go ahead and get a shot of some of these trees. This is what we've really seen change. And I know we've seen this all over the area, but still here in Fort Worth, we've seen the snow really accumulate on the trees. And in fact, when I was driving in about 5 blocks away, I saw crews out from the city of Fort Worth already having to handle some branches that have fallen. In this case, it was pretty large, probably, I don't know, a foot across. They had gotten it cut up so it wouldn't be a danger and piled it on the sidewalk. And when they saw me taking a picture of it, they ran over and said, "Oh, ma'am, don't worry. We'll have this picked up in the morning." And of course, I think that's really the least of our concerns right now. I'm just glad that they had that danger out of the way. But they are out right now. They said that they have emergency crews who are handling the tree issues, and that right now they were going to go ahead and head over to Meadowbrook. Will, if you don't mind, go ahead and pan there to your right. We'll go ahead and get a shot of the traffic and some of the shrubbery out front where you can see the snow accumulating. I want to tell you real quick what I heard from MedStar. Of course, that's the ambulance service for most of Tarrant County. They tell me that they have actually had to suspend their lights and sirens responses, even on their most difficult calls, their most fragile patients, simply because it's too dangerous. It's too dangerous for the ambulances, for the paramedics, and it's also dangerous, they say, for other drivers on the road. They know that we're all good about trying to, most of us are good about trying to get out of the way for them, and they don't want to cause an accident while they're trying to get to the emergency itself. So again, for that reason, they say they've suspended it, and they are guessing, just judging by weather conditions, that it will be suspended for about 12 hours. They also tell us, just to give us an idea of how serious some of these accidents have been, that they had already responded to 17 accidents between midnight and noon today, and of course we've seen a lot more since noon. That gives you an idea of how many injuries that we're seeing. They also told us that one of those accidents actually involved one of their ambulances. Now, we haven't heard yet if there were any injuries. I would think that they would have mentioned that if there had been, but again, they're obviously not immune to what's going out here on the roads. But this is the view from outside of downtown Fort Worth. Of course, we'll keep watching it and bringing you pictures. In Fort Worth, Chris Haas, Channel 8 News.
As you can imagine, it's a fun day to be a kid.
For the kids, absolutely. These are pictures of kids getting out of school at Lake Highlands. They're probably crossing their fingers that they don't have to go to school tomorrow, but there are other closings already, Gloria.
That's right. We're already hearing from several school districts that will not open tomorrow. As you might imagine, Pete's been saying all along that it is going to get worse. HEB, Keller ISD, and Northwest ISDs all have announced they will not have classes tomorrow.
And certainly there will be more of those coming throughout the night, so be sure to check WFAA.com. Watch us at 5 and 6. We'll be scrolling them on the bottom of the screen, and then join John and Gloria tonight for the News 8 update. That is when we will certainly see the biggest list.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if any school district is open tomorrow, the way Pete is talking, but we will find out for sure.
We will find out. It should be interesting to see if this changes anything for the All-Star game as well.
That's right. A lot of people coming into town. They're being greeted by a record snowfall, probably.
All right, we'll be right back here on News 8 covering your winter weather.
Good afternoon again, everyone. I'm Pete Delkus. I know the snow is causing some problems, and if it hasn't caused problems as of right now, it will certainly cause problems later tonight and no doubt tomorrow morning. But it sure is a pretty picture, isn't it? Take a look at Tower Cam right here in downtown Dallas. We're looking at the Belo building, the park over on the left side of your screen. A very, very pretty picture right there from right here in downtown Dallas. The snow continues to fall. Moderate to occasionally at times heavy in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Denton continues to see heavy snow. The same thing across portions of Wise County, down into Parker, Palo Pinto County, Granbury, Cleburne. You're seeing moderate snow, but a little farther to the south, anywhere from Comanche, who has seen snow. You'll continue to pick it up, but a little bit of rain, a little bit of sleet mixing in there. Also in Hillsboro, Waco, mainly rain. Temperatures to the south and southeast are warmer, and that means rain mixed in with a little bit of snow and also some sleet. But here, remember, again, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, our general trend for the rest of the evening will be mainly snow that will certainly accumulate. Weatherbug, for example, it's 32 degrees at Bolin Elementary in Allen. There's the temperature. Northeast winds at 3. A little bit of a wind chill factor right now in the upper 20s. The snow's accumulating on cars, on rooftops, right here on the top of the school's building as well. So it will continue to pile up. How much have we seen? Denton has picked up 8.5 inches of snow. Alliance 5 inches, Decatur 8 inches, Fort Worth 6, 5 in Burleson. We've picked up 4.5 in Dallas. That's at Love Field, and it was 5.7 at DFW. That number has now gone up to 6.2 inches of snow. That's a record for this date. The old record was 1.4, so we shattered that. McKinney at 7 inches. Mesquite, you've seen 4. Terrell, 3.5. Greenville, you've seen 5 inches of snow. Lancaster, 5 in Waxahachie, and 5.5 at Executive. 6 o'clock tonight, this is the forecast. The snow continues to fall. Areas to the south and southeast of Dallas will pick up a little bit of a mix. But as we head through the evening, look at that. It's not going away. It's going to continue to snow as we head through the evening. This is 3 o'clock in the morning. The snow then moves into portions of East Texas, but we will be left with quite a snowfall. Some record numbers, I think, are a possibility here across the area. Obviously, we've already shattered the daily total, but I'll have some more largest snowfall numbers for you here in just a moment. 7 to 9. I believe that will be the storm total here in Dallas-Fort Worth. Also Denton and McKinney. Some locations may pick up, some isolated spots may pick up a little bit more than that, but northwest of Dallas and Fort Worth, 9 to 11, and then lighter amounts the farther south and southeast that you head. That's why we have a winter storm warning that's in effect through midnight. That winter storm warning may be extended until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. This just simply means that you're going to see a lot of snow, and it's going to cause some big headaches for travel as we head through tonight. It's 34 degrees right now, so we've actually gone up a degree at DFW. Light winds out of the east. At least we're not contending with those 50 to 60 plus mile-an-hour winds that we had for our Christmas Eve storm, a wind chill of 31 degrees. So the winter storm warning stays in effect as we head through the rest of tonight. Snow is likely tonight. It will be a dry day tomorrow. Cloudy most of the day. Peaks of late day sunshine at 37. Pictures, they continue to come in from viewers. Renato Salazar sent this one in from Mesquite. He tells me that the dog is breathing. I'm glad of that. Trying to make it a snow angel, maybe. Gail Smith in Nocona, she sent this one in. She said the mother and the calf were out in the pasture, and she just couldn't resist taking this picture, so my thanks to Gail. Our next and last picture was sent in by Joe Weir in Colleyville, and his little fella was out enjoying the snow like so many kids either are right now or will as we head through the latter part of the afternoon, then into the evening, so a snowman right there. Otherwise, there's that live picture in downtown Dallas. The snow continues to fall. And Shelley and Gloria, listen to this. I mentioned 6.2 inches of snow today. That breaks the old record of 1.4. The 24-hour record for DFW, the largest storm in 24 hours, is 7.5 inches. Right now we're at 6.2, so we're 1.25 inches away from tying the all-time snow record, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if we actually break that record as we head through the rest of the afternoon, then into the evening.
I think we're probably going to do it. We'll see. Stand by.
I was going to say, this is the most snow I've seen in 25 years.
I grew up here, and I've never seen anything like this. And I bet they haven't either at American Airlines. Let's get to Tim Smith. He's on the phone for us. Tim, earlier in the day, I heard you saying you had at least 150 cancellations. Where do things stand right now?
Well, the cancellations have gone up since then, progressively through the day, because we're having to de-ice virtually every aircraft that is operating. The air traffic control system has slowed things way down, so there's just no way to operate the normal schedule. We're up right now between both American and American Eagle, our regional airline affiliate, to 363 flight cancellations, departures out of DFW today. That's 157 at American. That's 206 at Eagle. So that's a big chunk. That's not quite half of our total departure schedule at DFW on a normal day. So this is definitely having an impact literally throughout the system.
I'm curious, Tim, where are you getting planes to right now?
Well, we're actually getting them to practically everywhere we go. It's just we aren't getting as many of them. This is also interrelated to all the problems that we've seen on the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast the last couple of days, because you don't just flip a switch and suddenly you're back operating, because all the airplanes and the crews are out of position for those flights. So, there's that rub-off effect. And in fact, system-wide, we're looking at about 900 system-wide. So that's roughly 25% of our entire system that's been wiped out by today in DFW and the remnants of what's in the East Coast. But it's really difficult. But we are getting things out in most of our markets. There's a few of the smaller ones that we're not getting anything into, but we didn't get back into the Mid-Atlantic, for that matter, until this afternoon, because there were no planes there.
And what about, today is snow. Snow is one thing. People can drive on snow. Planes can take off in snow to a certain extent. But tomorrow we're expecting a lot of ice in the morning. Are you guys planning for the overnights with cots, etc., to take care of the folks who are just sitting there, probably pretty irritated, even though you can't do anything about it?
Well, first of all, a lot of people, because you sort of plan for this, and you do a lot of pre-cancellations, not everyone, but a lot of cancellations well ahead of time, where you can try and let passengers know what's going on so they don't show up at the airport, and you can start the process of reaccommodating them in the days ahead, or perhaps on some of the flights that are operating today. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of people overnight. We don't send them in here to be stranded. Also, if you think about what Pete just said, the precipitation itself falling from the sky is supposed to be ending sometime in the overnight and early morning. So there's not going to be freezing rain or anything like that, the way I understood his forecast. I think the bigger problem is on the streets and the ground, and I think the airport itself will be in pretty good shape in the morning, but I think we'll still have to do some residual de-icing just from the moisture that's in the air to get the day started. So I'm sure there's going to be some rub-off effect, especially in the morning tomorrow, but the actual skies should be reasonably good for flying tomorrow.
Well, we certainly hope so. Tim, take us through the steps of de-icing a plane, since obviously that doesn't happen in the wink of an eye.
No, it doesn't, because you have a couple of large stations on either side of the airport with multiple bucket trucks that spray the de-icing fluid onto the aircraft. It both melts the ice and in some cases uses a fluid to prevent further ice from sticking. But mostly it just knocks off everything that's on there. It can easily take, depending on how iced up the aircraft is, 20 to 30 minutes to de-ice one aircraft. So you not only have the several aircraft being done at once, you've got a queue of planes waiting to be de-iced. So that's part of the delay situation on the flights that are operating. It takes a lot longer to get out from the gate out to the de-icing pad, get de-iced, then get on the runway and take off. So what we are operating is running late as well.
Right. Tim, thank you so much for your time. Tim Smith with American Airlines. No doubt we'll be checking in with you tomorrow, because I think Pete says the winter watch has been extended now.
Yes, much into the night, and they weren't expecting that. The storm, it always moves a little bit, and it moved up, so we'll see. We now want to show you some pictures. This is the Bruce Lowry Chevrolet. This is in Fort Worth. These are tents. These are awnings that have collapsed, I'm assuming, onto many cars. They are worth, millions of dollars, the tents and the cars, causing a lot of damage. This is in Fort Worth. It just means that the amount of snow that's been falling has put so much pressure, so much weight on top of these awnings that they just couldn't handle it anymore. Certainly in our area, we aren't prepared to get 7 to 9 inches of snow on a regular basis, so this is a shock to them. But nothing is really damaged, we're being told right now, so except for the awnings that you're seeing right there. And when I was living in West Virginia, full towers would collapse. When the snow is that heavy, things go down.
Well, I've already lost a couple of trees from the weight of the snow.
Already.
Yes. And let's take a look at an Arlington apartment complex where an awning there at the Villa Del Mar Apartments has collapsed there. We're told on some 4 cars there, Shelley. As we mentioned, the weight of the snow is bringing down trees. It's liable to bring down awnings, as we saw at the car lot there, and this is at an apartment complex. I think we're going to see these all this evening into tomorrow as the snow continues to pile up, because now we're talking about 9 inches, and it's heavy, and these structures are not equipped to handle that weight.
We've seen 12 hours of snow. Pete says 12 more on the way. We'll be right back after this with the latest on your winter weather. We are back, and we are covering the winter weather that you're seeing outside of your houses right now. Certainly a lot of snow falling, some places seeing up to 9 inches, and that is causing school cancellations. We want to put up a list because it is growing by the minute.
All right, let's take a look. A lot of them have already called classes for tomorrow, including Fort Worth ISD, Hearst Euless Bedford, Cedar Hill ISD, Keller, Springtown ISD, Melissa ISD.
And then Northwest ISD we're also seeing as well. We do have Clint Bond, who is with the Fort Worth ISD, on the phone with us right now. When did you make the decision, and what made you make the decision this early on? A lot of folks wait until the morning to do this. Clint, you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
I was wondering, what made you guys make the decision this early on? I know a lot of school districts wait until the morning of around 5:45, 6 a.m.
Right. We had been watching the weather all day, and we had canceled the activities for this afternoon, after-school activities, the evening classes, and all meetings for tonight. Just with the forecasts that are being made by your meteorologists, by the National Weather Service, it's obvious that the roads are going to be very treacherous in the morning. So we decided it would be best now if parents could make arrangements for taking care of their children tomorrow and just not have them come to school at all. And we've canceled all other activities for tomorrow as well.
How are the buses moving this afternoon for getting the kids home?
Well, they're moving well because the roads are not frozen. They're slushy, they're a little sloppy, and our bus drivers are taking their time. So while we may be off schedule a little bit, where our effort is to get everybody home safely.
I can imagine. I saw a lot of kids outside playing today. How was the focus today at school? Have you heard about that? It's kind of hard to even hold school when it's snowing outside.
Well, my experience with that is when I sat in a classroom and saw the snow outside, I was making all kinds of snowmen in my mind.
I bet you were. I think we've all been there before.
That's right. And what a time to be a kid. And now they can look forward to a day off from school tomorrow, because to be honest, it'd be dangerous to try to get them to school and for the teachers to get there as well. So I might as well be safe. And we thank you for your time, Clint Bond with the Fort Worth ISD. We understand the Arlington ISD also has called classes for tomorrow, so a long weekend for the kids in Arlington
yes,
as well.
They are thrilled for that. We want to get straight over to Pete again now, because Pete, the focus is, of course, people driving home tonight, but also that early morning rush hour and how much ice we could possibly have.
Well, I think it's more of a likelihood at this point, Shelley, because right now in Dallas the temperature's 33. At DFW we're at 34, and I expect temperatures to drop to 29 or 30 degrees by around 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. So we're going to have some pretty serious problems tomorrow morning, and I think it's a very wise idea that folks are coming up with, the different school districts are, to just cancel classes tomorrow morning. And no doubt we will have many, many more to come as we head through the remainder of the afternoon, then certainly into the evening too. Check out what's happening outside right now. The moderate to at times heavy snow continues to fall, and this is going to stay in place for, I've been mentioning this, another 10, maybe 12 hours. We'll keep having it move in from the southwest to the northeast. Our southernmost counties, the closer you get to Waco, the more likely it is that you're going to see rain. As you creep a little bit to the north around Hillsboro and Corsicana, you're going to pick up rain mixed in with some snow and also some sleet. So a wintry mix down there, but all snow in the Dallas-Fort Worth area now. And remember, another 10 to 12 hours of that. Temperatures hovering right around the freezing mark. DFW, as I mentioned, just above that at 34. Fort Worth's at 32. It's 32 in Denton, 34 in McKinney, 32 in Mesquite. Look at Executive, Waxahachie, all at 32 degrees. Grand Prairie and Burleson sit at 34. So here's my time cast. This is the way I'm expecting temperatures to drop as we head through the next 12 hours or so, 12 to 18 hours. There's our 34-degree mark at this point. At 6 o'clock, I believe we'll drop to 32 degrees, and then by the midnight hour, we'll drop to 31. That's when things will start to freeze. They'll start to freeze this evening, but that freezing will really intensify as we head through, let's say, the midnight hour. I expect temperatures to really start to drop off. And then by 6 o'clock in the morning, when folks are trying to head out to work, we drop to 30 degrees. So that's when we're going to have some serious problems with all of this slush, all of this water that's on the road. It's going to freeze, and no doubt we're going to have some major travel problems tomorrow morning. Example right now, look at all the moisture in place on WeatherBug down at Cedar Hill, where it's 33 degrees. Light winds give us a bit of a wind chill at 29. So a lot of snow has fallen, and there's a lot more to come. Let me show you the example of what I'm talking about. DFW, a single-day snowfall record for us. The old record for today of snow was 1.4. We've picked up 6.2 inches of snow at DFW and another 10 to 12 hours of that in the forecast. Look at Fort Worth, 6 inches. Denton, 8.5. Bridgeport, 7. Mineral Wells, 8. Graham, 7.5. Granbury, 5. 4 in Stephenville. 5 inches out in Abilene. Dallas, 5.3. That's in Highland Park. 7 in McKinney. 5 in Greenville. 3.5 in Terrell. Look at Sherman and Gainesville. 5 to 5.5 inches of snow up along the Red River. The forecast keeps snow in it. At 6 o'clock tonight, snow will be in place. At midnight, it will still be snowing. By 6 o'clock in the morning, nothing will be falling from the sky, at least in Dallas, at least in Fort Worth, Denton, and McKinney and Plano. But in East Texas, we're still going to have some snow around. So as you head out to work tomorrow morning, we're going to have some problems. You just saw how much we've picked up. How much snow will we have total around here? 7 to 9 inches in Dallas and Fort Worth, 9 to 11 to the northwest, and lighter amounts the farther east you go. You get down around Palestine, Nacogdoches, you may only have an inch at the most. So higher amounts the closer you get to Dallas, and then when you head to the northwest, it's really going to go up from there. And those high snowfall totals and several more inches in our forecast. That's why the winter storm warning is in place through midnight. But remember, I wouldn't be surprised if this winter storm warning is extended just beyond the midnight hour. Otherwise, take a look at some of these pictures. They've been great. Linda Yarborough sent this one in from Arlington. You got to love this picture right here. Pretty picture from Linda. A second one that she sent us. And take a look at this one. More snow-covered trees, a very wet snow, temperatures hovering right around the freezing mark. And the last one from Dallas is Thomas Pohl. He sent this one in. Some beautiful, beautiful pictures indeed. So Shelley and Gloria, let me give you a little bit of, let me give you some perspective here. Both of you said you have never seen this much snow. The last time we had this much snow in Dallas, Shelley, you weren't born, 1978. February 17th. Well, I know.
Yeah, we know.
7.5 inches of snow. And prior to that, I'm certain that neither one of you were born. That was February 25th, 1924, when we had 7.5 inches of snow. This is the 7th snowiest winter on record, and the 3rd snowiest February. 6.2 right now in the record books, and there's more to come.
Oh yeah, and it's coming down heavy. You know, when I came to work, Shelley, at 1:30, you've been here all day, it was very light, and now it's coming down heavy again.
It's coming down at a good clip, and I remember when it was like this in 1978, because I've seen my parents' pictures.
Aha!
They talked about it quite a bit.
All right, well, we'll be right back with more news. By the way, Mansfield ISD now also and Lancaster ISDs saying they will not have classes tomorrow. Stay with us. Our winter weather continues. With you covering the North Texas winter storm, and we've got more school closings to tell you about. Obviously, a lot of schools already making plans for tomorrow because, as Pete has told us over and over, this conditions are only going to get worse, Shelley.
Yeah, they seem to be coming in about every 10 minutes. So here's the list: Fort Worth ISD, Hurst Euless, Cedar Hill, Keller, Springtown, and Melissa. That's the first page.
That's right. We have more. Northwest ISD, Arlington ISD, Mansfield, and Lancaster. So far, we're getting a little closer to Dallas, but we still have not heard from the biggest school district in the area. They had classes today, and both of my children attend DISD, and my husband's already said they're not going to school tomorrow anyway.
So there could be some absences tomorrow. We have John DeLander. He is on the phone for us with DISD. John, when are you guys going to make the call?
Well, we usually make these calls overnight, but, you know, this is a unique situation. I think you all have been talking about it all day, that just the snow coming down, you know, continuously all day long is that's kind of a new phenomenon here in North Texas. We're not used to that. So, you know, we're starting the discussions now, and we'll see if we're going to make a decision early, as these other school districts have as well.
Now, I understand it's policy that DISD doesn't even close school early. Is that correct, John?
That is correct. We have so many students. We have 157,000 students, and so to close our schools early creates a hardship on so many parents out there. You know, our thought process is if we're going to release early at 1:30, we might as well keep the students in classes until 3 o'clock. So our whole thinking has been once our students come in and in the morning, they're going to stay for that full day.
And John, I've had other school districts tell me before in interviews that there's a little bit of the bandwagon effect, you know, meaning if a district right next to you closes down, then you really start to think a little bit more about closing down yourself. Does that affect you guys at all, or is DISD independent?
Well, it is going to, I think, probably eventually have an impact on us. We have a lot of teachers who come from not just Dallas, but live in other areas as well. So it is something that we take into consideration. If other school districts, and in this case, most of them are closed, then we may do the same. But again, a decision hasn't been made, and we hope to make that soon, or you know, we'll continue to monitor the situation.
Okay, well, now I heard of an incident at one of the schools earlier, John. Have you been brought up to speed on this? The kids were complaining that there were not enough teachers there to supervise them, and a little mayhem and fighting broke out.
Yes, we heard about that over at Skyline High School, and in fact, Mr. Ship was over there just right at the time when this was taking place. Very unfortunate situation, and yes, we're very, very much aware of that. But, yeah, that is a problem. If you have a situation where a snowstorm develops and certain teachers have kids in other school districts, then sometimes those teachers may not show up for work. So that does create a hardship for us.
Well, I'm sure you're going to be on top of that situation over at Skyline, and we'll hear more about that, and hopefully an early call sometime this evening on whether DISD will close. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. We do want to mention that Oprah will not be airing at 4 o'clock. We are going to have continuous coverage. That will air at 3:10 in the morning. So if you're up at 3:10 or you're not, just put a little TiVo, DVR that if you want.
That's right, and we'll be right back as our coverage continues of this North Texas winter storm.
As we said earlier, it seems like every 5 to 10 minutes we are getting another school closing. Now, McKinney ISD, you are closed for tomorrow.
A lot of the major school districts, mainly west, Lancaster and McKinney, really the closest to Dallas ISD closing. And let's go back to Pete for an update on our weather conditions. Pete?
Well, I tell you what, Gloria, you keep getting those school closings in because the snow keeps falling and it's not going to stop. Someone just walked into the weather center. They wondered if they could get out this evening to do a couple of things because the snow was going to stop. I said it's not going to stop until about 6 o'clock in the morning. So by 6 in the morning here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it won't be snowing anymore. The snow at that point will be in East Texas. But take a look at what's happening right now. News 8 Dopplernet, there it is. Snow moderate to light across the area. Occasionally we have some heavier snow. See these grays within the white? That's the moderate snow. That's what's in place. I want to zoom in to areas to the south because that's where we have a mix. It's mainly rain, but at times it's mixed in with sleet and also snow. And as we zoom in down around Hillsboro and Waco, you can see what's occurring there. Meridian and Hamilton, also down around Groesbeck and Mejia. That's a rain-snow mix, even a little bit of sleet. Why am I showing you what's happening south of Waco? Because that's what's moving toward Dallas. All of this moisture, temperatures are well above freezing down here, 35 plus degrees, if not warmer than that. As that moisture moves to the north into Dallas and Fort Worth, temperatures are cold enough for snow to produce, and that's just exactly what we have happening out there at this hour. Weather bug, another beautiful picture in Cedar Hill at Bray Elementary. Look at the snow-covered rooftops and look at all the trees just covered in snow right now. It's 33 degrees, a wind chill of 30, and a beautiful picture to the south of downtown Dallas in Cedar Hill. Snowfall totals, these are as of right now. Fort Worth, 6 inches. Denton, 8.5. McKinney, 7 inches. Dallas, 5.3. 6.2 inches at DFW. That is a new record. It shattered the old record for this date. The old record was 1.4, 6.2 the new record, and 7.8 is the daily record for all time here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. 7.8, and I do believe we will get to that record as we head through the rest of the night because more snow is in our forecast. This is at 6 o'clock. This is your forecast. Snow continues to fall through the 6 o'clock hour. Throughout the evening, we will keep snow around. The snow falls overnight. Watch this. 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. The snow is coming to an end. It's in East Texas by 6 o'clock in the morning, but we will be left with several more inches on top of what we've already seen. So how much are we going to see all together? 7 to 9 inches here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Lighter amounts off to the southeast and then heavier amounts off to the northwest. 9 to 11 inches of snow from Gainesville to Bridgeport, Mineral Wells, and Graham. This whole area here, Jacksboro, 9 to 11 in your forecast. That's what you can expect, and that's why we have a winter storm warning that's in effect until midnight. The roadways will become icy as we head through the evening rush and wait until tomorrow morning. I believe we'll have big problems with all of this slush freezing because temperatures by 6 tomorrow morning will be right around 29 to 30 degrees. I'll be back in just a minute with more weather. Of course, Gloria and Shelley will be back in just a few minutes too with more on News 8. Make sure you stay with us. Be a minute or two away.
And you are back with News 8 as we continue to cover this winter storm that you're seeing outside of your windows right now. A lot of snow is falling and a lot of schools are closing because of it already. Oftentimes they wait until the morning, but not this time around. We want to show you the full list that we have right now here at News 8.
That's right. They're planning ahead. So let's take a look at this list. These are all the school districts that have told us they're closing tomorrow. Fort Worth ISD, HEB, Hearst, Euless, Bedford, Cedar Hill ISD, Keller ISD, Springtown ISD, Melissa ISD.
And the list going to continue for us with Northwest ISD, Arlington ISD, Mansfield. We have Lancaster. McKinney just called us not too long ago saying they were going to close. And earlier, Gloria and I talked to John DeLander with DISD. Still no word from the DISD whether they will or will not close tomorrow.
That's right. It is the largest school district in our area, having 157,000 students. So they're looking at it right now, as we were told, and we'll make a decision, I'm hoping, soon.
We will find out soon. We want to get over to Steve McCauley now. He's our great teacher. That's what we think of Steve McCauley. You were talking about how there could be such a thing as a thunder snow. Describe that.
Yeah, I've been watching the radar screens very closely to see if we can find any lightning bolts because typically what you see whenever you have very heavy snow like this, sometimes you get a little thunderstorm that could produce some heavy pockets of snow. And I'm actually standing a little bit further away from the camera than I was last time because large chunks of snow, snowballs and ice are coming down, and I'm sure you would find it amusing if it would kind of smack me on the head. But I'm standing out a little bit further out into the snow, and this is indeed a very heavy, wet snow. I mean, just take a look at this. I mean, this just really reminds me back home in West Virginia when you could make a snowman 10 feet tall with something like this. And I'm sure there's some folks out there in North Texas, especially just to the west and northwest of the metro, if there's 7 to 9 inches of snow, can really make a big one. But you got to be careful. And let me just talk to the kids for a little bit. Yeah, you can go out and have a snowball fight, but this thing compacts down really hard, and you're going to end up having an ice ball fight, and that can really hurt. So be careful out there whenever you're out playing around with things like that. I mean, I'm standing away from it because things were hitting me on top of the head, and it did not feel very good. And like I said, and as Pete has been telling you all along, this stuff is going to be refreezing overnight, and it could get quite dangerous. Shelley and Gloria.
All right. Thanks a lot, Steve. Before we continue, we want to tell you that ABC News will be breaking in soon. Apparently, former President Bill Clinton is hospitalized with what they're calling a heart issue. So we're waiting to hear from ABC to find exactly what has happened to the former president.
Yeah, that could be coming at any moment. And the second that does happen, we will break in here on News 8. We are not going to be airing Oprah. We will air it at 3:10 in the morning if you want to TiVo it here on Channel 8 or also on Channel 52.
Channel 52 at 8 p.m. A viewer asked us that in an email, and I'm glad to give them an answer that Oprah will air at 8 p.m. on Channel 52. And there you're looking at some of the beautiful winter scenes. Not such a good situation if you're out driving around because it is starting to freeze out there in some spots and can be quite treacherous.
We do want to talk about some of the things, kind of recap what we've talked about in the last hour. For American Airlines, they're saying that they have had 363 flight cancellations. And then system-wide, meaning nationwide, they've had 950 cancellations. That is a huge number. That is 25%. So certainly if you're headed to the airport, you want to call ahead, whether it's Love Field, DFW, traveling tonight, traveling tomorrow, waiting for somebody to come in. It could be something else.
Right. They're kind of optimistic that they're going to get some flights out in the morning. But, you know, Pete says we could get 9 to 12 hours more of snow, and that could create some problems. And, of course, the freezing conditions will continue. It takes some time to de-ice an airplane. So if they get flights out tomorrow morning, it probably won't be all of the flights, that's for sure.
And Gloria, just minutes after we interviewed DISD's John DeLander, we are now hearing that DISD, the largest school district in North Texas, is going to be closed tomorrow. They just made that call about 10-15 minutes after discussing it with us. So Fort Worth ISD, the big ones are all closed already.
Fort Worth, Arlington, and Dallas, as you just heard, Mansfield, Northwest, Keller, HEB, a number of them already saying Lancaster, no school tomorrow. And of course, you can keep an eye out on the bottom of your screen and find out exactly where your school district stands. But I'll be very surprised if anybody goes to school tomorrow.
Well, as you just saw with our jam cam that you were just looking at there, the visibility's not too bad right now, but Pete is saying it's going to get a lot worse once the temperatures dip overnight. As you can see, it's just slushy right now, so you might be thinking no big deal, but overnight it's going to freeze, and that means ice.
All right, and John McKay will be joining Shelley in just a minute, and we'll see you back here in a moment.
It just keeps coming and coming.
I'm from Minnesota, so it kind of feels like I'm at home now.
Home, just where some wanted to stay today.
They should have called school. Everybody stay home safe.
While some nervously ventured out on the roads, students we found couldn't wait to get out there.
When they announced it, our class went, ah!
Snow piled up on roads, in yards, and on cars.
What can you say? It's the weather, so there's not really a whole lot they can do about it.
But crews are trying. They're working around the clock to make sure you are safe.
We're full force, have everything out there. Again, we've got 10,000 miles of roadway to cover in 7 counties.
The North Texas winter storm is our top story.
Live from Victory Park, this is News 8 Now in high definition.
And this is a live look at road conditions here in North Texas. Jam Cam is live near I-20 and Spur 408. As you can see, it's a slushy mess, and that could turn wicked in no time to ice. Good evening to you. I'm Shelley Slater. We're live from Victory Park.
I'm John McKay. We are on a bit early today because of the snowstorm that's hitting North Texas this afternoon. Several school districts, they've already announced that they will be closed tomorrow. There are going to be no Friday classes in Dallas and Fort Worth, Hurst, Euless, Bedford, Keller, Springtown, Melissa, Northwest, Arlington, Mansfield, Lancaster, Cedar Hill, Birdville, and McKinney ISD. All of them, no classes tomorrow. So keep an eye on the bottom of your screen for more closure information. We'll keep it up there throughout the evening. Let's get right to our chief meteorologist, Pete Delkus. He's in the Weather Center for a look at what's going on out there right now. Pete?
Well, John, this is one of the largest snowstorms on record in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. 6.2 inches of snowfall recorded. That was the latest about 30 minutes ago. The largest snow in one calendar day happened twice, back in 1978 and 1924. That was 7.5 inches. We're already at almost 6.5. So I believe we will certainly at least make it to that record snowfall for the day. And there's a very, very good likelihood that we will certainly surpass that 7.5 number. Take a look at these temperatures. This is critical for us right now. Snow is falling. It's going to continue to fall. Temperatures are hovering right around 32. Dallas is at 33. That's Love Field. Fort Worth's at 32. McKinney and Denton both at 33 degrees. Let me give you the timeline on what I expect. By 6 o'clock tonight, we will drop officially at DFW to 32 degrees. Right now at DFW, we're at 34. We drop to 32 at 6 o'clock tonight. By midnight, we will drop to 31 degrees. That's when we start to have some problems, and then the problems will only become worse as we head through the overnight, approaching daybreak tomorrow, or your morning rush hour, because temperatures will definitely fall below freezing at the 30-degree mark at 6 o'clock in the morning. And that means that all this slush, all of this mess that we have out there right now is going to freeze. And there is a lot of snow at this point across North Texas. It's falling area-wide. At this hour, it will continue to fall as we head through the remainder of the evening and even into the overnight. Another 10 to 12 hours worth of snow. And look at these numbers. Just to the northeast of Gainesville, Emily Barron called in with 7 inches of snow. Bedford, Bill Kinder with 6. Bobby Clark in McKinney, 6 inches. Weston Geisler in Double Oak with 5.5 inches of snow. Look at Safety Town in Frisco. We've dropped a degree to 31. Everything is snow covered in Frisco. Wind chill of 24 degrees. So it's cold outside right now. 10 to 12 more hours worth of snow. And Steve McCauley is live at Victory Park. Steve, give us a report from your location.
Well, Pete, I've noticed a decrease in the size of the snowflakes over the last 30 minutes or so. I mean, obviously it is still coming down, but it's not quite as heavy as it used to be, but there's still several more waves coming on through. But be very, very careful, because if you're walking in the downtown area, large chunks of snow are falling from the buildings. Let's send it back over now to the news desk.
Other news, of course, the slippery roads, they're the biggest concern that we have right now as commuters across North Texas make their way home. Here's a live look. These are TxDOT cameras. Now, the streets, as you know, they're wet and they could change to ice at any time. That is our big concern. Our Monica Diaz joins us now live with what the crews are doing to try to make those streets safe. Monica?
John, crews are checking all the roads and highways here in Dallas, and if you take a look behind me here at the High 5, it's been snowing all day since 4 o'clock this morning. So far, traffic is on the move and no sign of ice, but TxDOT and the Dallas Street team are getting ready for all of this to change for the worse in the next few hours. Sharika Bolden stopped at a Dallas gas station for a quick fill-up after leaving work early.
I decided to leave because the conditions were getting worse.
Hitting the road, hoping to get to her McKinney home before the slush turns into ice.
I'm very concerned that, I saw cars on the side of the road and in ditches, and I don't want that to be me.
More than 150 trucks with the city of Dallas and TxDOT are on the road, preparing for battle.
Hitting the high roads, the bridges and overpasses, the ramps, anywhere where it's potential. There's a little bit of a breeze that can sometimes bring the temperature down pretty quick. So we're trying to do a little pre-treatment.
Crew after crew loaded their trucks with the mix made of sand and salt. They are working 12-hour shifts, monitoring every deck and every bridge, looking for patches of ice.
I'll go over it, then come back, make sure I get a good layer of sand on top of that ice. I just can't go over it one time and not go back again. I'll go over it, all the bridge, come back, do it again.
Alvin Packer has been with the Dallas Street team for 14 years. He predicts this storm will be one of his worst.
Well, I think tomorrow morning is going to be rough. It's going to be real bad in the morning. Late on the night. Late on after 12, when it get kind of, when it get down about 28 or something like that, it's going to be bad. Yeah, just you pray for us.
And so far in the city of Dallas, we've had 28 major accidents and 80 minor accidents. And really, TxDOT and the city of Dallas, they are worried about what's going to happen after midnight. TxDOT even told me just about a few minutes ago that if drivers can stay off the road tomorrow morning, then do it. They don't want people to be on the road if they don't have to. We're live in Dallas. Monica Diaz, Channel 8 News.
And it's those conditions that has more schools canceling. In just the last few minutes, we heard from Sanger, no school. Aubrey, same deal. Carrollton Farmers Branch is a little different than everybody else. We're talking about a 2-hour delay. And while you're seeing a lot of slush, this is our jam cam. This is I-20 in Duncanville. It's actually headed into Dallas. A lot of slush now. Once those temperatures drop overnight, as Pete has been saying, we could see a lot of ice.
Thousands of people across North Texas have lost power. Encore is busy working to try to restore all of that. The problem, of course, is the snow has covered some tree limbs. That's coming into contact, of course, with power lines. There are more than 33,000 customers right there who have no power. Snow is falling everywhere, in fact, in this part of Texas. Here's a look near Dallas City Hall. This is Pioneer Plaza. Now look at this. The snow gathering on the bronze longhorns outside. Snow, of course, blanketing our area.
You know, school's been out all week in Azle because of a water main break. Students did go back this morning, but were sent home 2 hours later because of the snow. There was so much snow in downtown Azle, and there wasn't much movement other than students heading out to have some fun with snow angels.
What can you say? It's the weather, so there's not really a whole lot they can do about it. So
you're not mad?
No, not at all.
We're
not at all. It's not
happy.
anybody's fault.
When they announced it, our class went.
Yeah, the kids are thrilled. Classes were canceled all week because of no water. They're canceled again today because of too much water in the frozen form.
Most of the snow melting in Collin County streets, school districts avoided a potential problem. Most schools in the county stayed open today, and that meant parents had to brave the elements on neighborhood roads to get to their schools. Our Steve Stoller joins us now. He's live in Frisco with that story. Steve?
Well, John, take a look at Rough Rider Trail here behind me, right outside our Collin County newsroom. All that snow that piled up on lawns melted on the roadways. Now just a few degrees colder, and it could have caused some major headaches for local schools. The snow fell throughout the day, at times heavily. For these Frisco school children, it meant a rare day to play in it. But their parents had other concerns. Just a tad colder, and all that snow would have piled up on neighborhood streets.
It's not common and it's not cost effective to have a snowplow that might sit for 5 years.
Frisco has 5 sanding trucks. When the weather turns icy, the trucks put sand and magnesium chloride on school bus routes. But Frisco's top priority is main roads, intersections, and police and fire stations.
Since most of our folks travel on those roads to get to businesses or stores or that sort of thing, we want to make sure we keep those open.
Plano Public Works officials say sanding neighborhood streets is almost impossible. They have 8 trucks that are responsible for sanding 100 miles of roadway and 150 bridges.
That takes us a lot of time to do that. We just don't have the time, the equipment, and materials to do every street and residential neighborhood in town.
Now, school district officials told us they made the decision to keep the schools open today based on weather and road conditions. They also said if the road conditions would have been impassable in the neighborhoods, their decision to make schools open would have been different. Live in Frisco, Steve Stoller, Channel 8 News. One of the largest snowfalls on record here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I'll tell you how much we've received, how much more is in the forecast, and your weekend outlook. It's all coming up.
This picture's from Little Elm. Doesn't matter where you live in North Texas, we're all getting just a little taste of white stuff today.
And while adults may find driving in this a misery for kids, this is what winter is all about. We're back in a moment.
Live picture coming to you right now with all the problems that we're having all over the place right now. Difficulty with everybody that across North Texas with some difficulties that we've had most of the afternoon and probably going to go on for quite some time. Pete's been warning folks that we're going to have to continue watching this all the time. You know, we have been talking so much, Shelley, about the fact that we're getting more snow, but it's the ice we're really worried about right now.
It is the ice, and Pete is saying that's going to come well into the evening, kind of in the morning, and that is why we've seen so many school cancellations. DISD, Fort Worth, McKinney, Aubrey. I mean, most of the major ISDs have canceled already, which is pretty irregular. Normally they call us around 5:45, even 6 a.m.
Six Flags over Texas is not open this time of year. You know what? That's a good thing. The amusement park is being blanketed by snow. Now take a look at this. Does that not make an absolutely gorgeous sight?
It does. The winter is pretty. And the weather did not stop people in Frisco from getting out and about this morning. Take a look at the shops at Legacy. Shoppers were darting in and out wearing their hoodies. It was cold, but they still had things to do.
I think this is great. I think we need lots of it.
Well, I love this weather. I'm from Minnesota, so it kind of feels like I'm at home now.
I love it. It's a little messy to drive in, but I like the snow. We don't have it often enough.
My only concern is really work, where they're going to shut down our office and not able to do any work, get paid for it, but it comes with the game.
Well, all the folks we talked to were concerned about possible icing on the road tonight, so they plan to be home way before that could possibly happen. News 8 viewers have been sending us pictures all day long, which we so appreciate. We want to show you this one. This is from Donnie W., who measured 2.5 inches on a picnic table in Grapevine earlier today. That snow is probably a lot closer to maybe 5, 6, up to 9 inches in some places now. AAA does have some tips for safe winter driving. First, take it slow. That will give you more time to react if something does go wrong. Don't be too distracted. This is the worst time to have the cell phone in your hand or to be texting. Clear your car's windows, lights, mirrors, roof, trunk, and hood before driving. And those windshield wipers are not designed to clear wet snow off your windshield. Last night it was soot. Today it's all slush as apartment residents recover from a 3-alarm fire in North Dallas. Byron Harris has the latest on that.
Wednesday night, fire crews fought to keep an attic fire at Preston Park Apartments from spreading. Marcia Ward made it out. So did Boo. And across the sidewalk, Marty Soto and Milo made it out too. All are safe. And today, what could have happened is just sinking in.
When you look at it, I mean, a lot of it's gone.
8 out of 144 units in the complex went up, 7 of them occupied.
They weren't the only ones affected because firemen kicked the doors in all of these units to make sure no one would be trapped inside.
As construction crews replace all the damaged doors on those apartments, workers are cleaning up the destroyed units. 7 families will be moved elsewhere in the complex.
We're getting units ready for them to relocate in, and we should be able to start allowing them to move in to their new apartment homes as early as this weekend.
Damage is estimated at $750,000. Byron Harris, Channel 8 News.
Of course, everybody wants to know what's going on in terms of weather. We know we've got. The question is, what are we going to get?
Yeah, what's next? Let's get to Pete Delkus, who is in our weather center for that. Pete?
Let me sum it up, Shelley and John. One word: snow. Unfortunately, it's going to keep snowing around here. It's 4:18 right now, so I would believe, by looking at the latest data, we have about another 10 hours of snow in our forecast. So that's the latest information right there. Take a look outside. At least we don't have that heavy to moderate snow right now in downtown Dallas. Yes, we still have just a little bit of light snow that continues to fall. And as you take a look at News 8 Dopplernet, the snow is still in place and it's not going to go away for quite some time, but light to moderate snow still occurring across the area. That's going to stick around at least for another 8 to 10 hours. Now check out WeatherBug. Let's head up to Allen, where the temperature is 32 degrees. You can see the rooftops and the grassy areas are covered with snow. The top of the school here is covered with snow too. Light winds out of the north at 6, a wind chill of 26, 27, 28 degrees. Snow totals, these are impressive. At DFW, as of 4 o'clock, 6.3 inches. The record for this date was 1.4. We've shattered the daily record. 1.4 was the old record. So far, 6.3. The most snow ever recorded in one calendar day at DFW was back in 1978. That was 7.5 inches of snow. We're going to be very close to that record. Denton already above those numbers at 8.5. Decatur at 8. 6 in Fort Worth. 5.3 at Love Field. 4 in Mesquite, 7 in McKinney. Look at Terrell, 3.5 in Greenville, has 5 inches of snow. So a lot of snow has fallen. It has finally lightened up in downtown Dallas. That's where our Steve McCauley is. And Steve, what's your guess? Give me an estimate as to how much snow we have over at Victory Park.
Well, I tell you what, Pete, it's somewhat hard to tell because it seems it piles up and then it just kind of settles down and again. And it looks like we may have about 3 or 4 inches in some of the undisturbed locations out here at Victory Park. But it's a very heavy, wet snow. And again, that, you know, in the Panhandle, they call that $1 million snow because it just kind of saturates right into the ground. But up here in North Texas, that could be causing some trees to come down or some weakly supported structures like awnings, car awnings or tent awnings or things like that. So we have to be very, very careful. And like I said, if you are coming out of downtown Dallas around all those buildings, we're seeing large batches of snow just kind of falling down and they can hit hard. So be very, very careful as you're walking the concrete jungle on your way home for tonight. Now we'll send it back over to John and Shelley.
Thank you so much, Steve. And we actually have seen awnings come down already today at some dealerships, even at apartment complexes.
People are going to have to be careful for the next couple of days because, you know, as this stuff freezes and it falls off some of these buildings, it is very dangerous.
Yeah, it's too heavy. We're not used to it. We want to show you a live picture from our Love Field Tower Camp. Right now, Southwest Airlines has canceled roughly 30 flights, which is 20% of their daily total. Passengers can expect delays ranging from just a few minutes to several hours at Love Field today. Now, at DFW International Airport, American Airlines reports 363 canceled flights. System-wide, 950 flights have been canceled today. They say that's about 25% of their flights. Now, those cancellations mean some passengers are stranded. Channel 8's Brad Watson's joining us live at DFW, where the de-icing is in full effect. How are things going, Brad?
Well, right now it's a waiting game, Shelley, with a lot of hopeful people, at least behind me here at this American Airlines ticket counter. They are hopeful in the sense that their flights are on the board, and they hope that their flights stay on the board and that they will get out of here sometime late today or tonight. It has been a waiting game this afternoon. It'll be a waiting game into tonight, and for some, a waiting game into tomorrow. The color blue is bad this afternoon at DFW. That's the color a cancellation comes up on the flight boards, and there's been plenty of blue all day. Linda Sakers-Smith hopes her evening flight home to Baltimore won't go blue.
We kept staying on time, so everybody kind of came to the airport early just in case. So what we're going to do is just stay here at the airport if we have to and get a room.
For those flights getting out, there are potential delays because of the de-icing necessary to get into the air. The airport's 5 de-icing pads got started at daybreak, and they'll stay busy until the snow stops. That can't come soon enough for some passengers. This group started its day at Love Field, set to take a Southwest Airlines flight to Albuquerque.
We got bumped, delayed and then canceled. So we waited there for a good long while. All of our all our bags and stuff, they're all in Albuquerque right now. We just got to get there to them. So
they wanted to get a flight from DFW, but then the blue news: the American flight to Albuquerque was also canceled.
We're not.
And last check from our group from Albuquerque was that they're going to stay the night, get a hotel room, and try to get back tomorrow. If you have a flight out tonight from any airport, of course, check with your airline ahead of time. But if you're going to come out here, bring patience. A lot of folks are finding that they get out here, their flights are on the board, and then while they're waiting, things are revised or canceled. Live at DFW, Brad Watson, Channel 8 News.
All right, we've tried to simplify that for you by allowing you to just go to WFAA.com to link you to anything that would help you find out if your flights are a go or not a go.
You know, it's already been a week filled with days off for the students who are up in Azle. Today, they got lucky again, but not until after their parents had dropped them off for the day.
And News 8 viewer Terry Roberts sent us this picture. It shows 2 adorable little girls enjoying the white weather today. For more viewer pictures, you can go to WFAA.com.
Let's get a quick correction on, we got the big NBA All-Star Weekend going on, and Six Flags will be open for those All-Star events this coming week. I think we said earlier it was not going to be, but for those events, it definitely will be open.
Can you imagine going down the Giant with the snow slamming in your face?
Can't imagine
Big old
that.
snowflakes.
Can't imagine that being a lot of fun either.
Pete, you should go try that a little later today. What do you think?
Yeah, the boss won't let me out of the building. I'm an indentured servant at this point. You know, I tell you what, this weekend's going to be okay. Temperatures will be in the 40s and 50s. It's going to be nice outside. It's just we have about another 10 hours of snow in our forecast. Tomorrow's going to be cloudy. It's going to be cold, and we won't have anything falling from the sky, but all of this moisture that's on the ground right now, all of the slush, all of the water, it's going to freeze late tonight, starting to freeze in some locations. But we will certainly have a lot of ice on area roadways tomorrow, and I think it's a great idea, a very wise idea about all the school closures tomorrow morning. This is one of the largest snowfalls on record in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so I'm glad that everyone's acting accordingly, governing themselves accordingly, no doubt about that. Let me show you the forecast. The snow continues for the next 10 hours or so. Take a look at this. At 6 o'clock tonight, it's still in place as we head through the evening. The snow keeps falling as we head through. This is 1 o'clock in the morning right there. The snow's starting to move off to the east, and it will continue to move away. So we have seen in some locations up to 9 inches of snow. Several more inches of snow are in the forecast. DFW right now, at this moment, they have 6.3 inches of snow. That shatters the old record of 1.4 that was set a number of years ago. That was just for this date, but 6.3 as of right now. A grand total of 7 to 9 here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, 9 to 11 off to the northwest, and then lighter amounts the farther southeast you go. So the snow will continue to fall, and you have about another 10 hours or so before it will finally all come to an end. I want you to take a look at these pictures. A lot of folks have sent in. Ann Carter sent this picture in. Actually, her husband Todd took this picture of her in Dallas, about 5.5 inches of snow at their home in Dallas. And check out this. Todd was enjoying, making the most of it. That's a very unique snowman that he sent in. But Todd and Ann are enjoying the day. And take a look at this picture. Thomas Pole's enjoying it too. A beautiful shot out of Dallas. My thanks to Thomas and the Arnold family. They have a snowman the size of Dale Hansen in Justin. Look at that, John and Shelley. A snowman the size of Hansen in Justin. The Arnold family are making the most out of it, too. And the last picture, this is Jeffrey Mixon. Jeffrey Mixon sent this picture in of his dog. This is Yogi. Yogi, the German Shepherd, just kind of enjoying the nice weather right there. I think, John and Shelley, that Yogi would certainly enjoy Six Flags because Yogi looked like a pretty tough character, Shelley.
The snowman out front of WFAA with your face on it?
You know, I've heard about that, and I can't wait to see that in just a few minutes.
It's not as big as Hansen's snowman, but hey, you should go check it out. All right, thanks. You know, in Tarrant County, a school closed down this week due to water supply problems. It was open again this morning, only to close again a little later because of the weather. Channel 8's Jim Douglas has the story.
Sure, it's beautiful, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder. No sooner did Azle students get back to school for the first time this week than they got canceled again.
They should have called school. Everybody stay home safe.
What can you say? It's the weather, so there's not really a whole lot they can do about it. So
You're not mad?
No, not at all.
We're
not at all. It's not anybody's fault.
happy.
When they announced it, our class went.
First classes got canceled all week because of no water, and then canceled because of too much, frozen though it may be.
I couldn't make it to work myself, so I went home, loaded up the bed with wood. Here I am.
Fort Worth racked up more than 100 accidents. Downtown Azle looked like this. Not many people moving. Those who were just headed home to have some fun.
Live picture coming to you from our jam cam. This is in the White Rock Lake area. It's been moving around all day long, seeing all the snow starting to really pick up. And we're going to have more problems as we continue with all this because it looks like, and I mean looks like, we're going to have at least a little bit of snow and ice that's going to be a problem for everybody.
It's going to snow throughout the rest of the night. It's not going away, yeah.
Big troubles. You know, somebody at the Skyline High School today, they ruined a good thing for everybody. What started as a friendly snowball fight somehow escalated into a serious exchange of blows. That's next.
And as we take a break, tranquility in Rockwall as viewers take a moment to enjoy the snow we've been seeing in our backyards all day.
And you can't have snow without someone making a snowman. And here's a perfect one. We're back in a moment. Here's a live look again, our jam cam. Now, this is going south on 45 out of Dallas. The snow continuing to come down, continuing to be a problem for everyone as commuters try to get home and get home safely.
And now to our TxDOT cameras, we want to show you what it's looking like from the roads. You know, it looks like cars are moving pretty well at a pretty good clip from all of these. That's the high five right there from all of our different views. But of course, take it easy tonight if you can. Good evening. Welcome back. I'm Shelley Slater. We're live from Victory Park.
I'm John McKay. Now, we're on a bit early today because of the snowstorm that's hitting North Texas this afternoon. Several school districts have already announced that they're going to be closed tomorrow, and there will be no Friday classes. Here they are in Dallas, Fort Worth, Hurst, Euless, Bedford ISD, Keller, Springtown, Melissa, Northwest, Arlington, Mansfield, Lancaster, Cedar Hill, Birdville, and McKinney. Now keep an eye on the bottom of your screen for more closure information. We'll keep that on for you throughout the evening.
And they keep coming in. We just got another one, Irving ISD. If you live in Irving, your kids are not going to school tomorrow.
That's right. Go back to Pete now because he's got more information for us.
They're in my ear, Mark. Okay. John, I believe we're on TV. We're going to start right now, aren't we? All right, let me show you what's happening out there at this moment. The snow continues to fall. It's going to continue for about the next 10 hours. Now, it hasn't been as intense here in downtown Dallas and in downtown Fort Worth as what we have seen, let's say, over the last 4 to 5 hours, but there's still some light snow falling, light to moderate. At times, we will occasionally see some heavy snow. That's extending from Granbury and Hood County up into Parker County, into Wise County. We're seeing that snow as well. In Fort Worth and also in Dallas, the snow is falling. It's starting to lighten up. We're getting a little bit of a break here in the northeastern corner of Collin County up into Fannin County around Bonham. Just a bit of a break. That's not going to last long. I expect the snow to pick up in intensity and coverage as we head through the next few hours. But temperatures are critical at this hour. In Fort Worth, we're at 32 degrees. Because they're critical because we're hovering right around freezing. A couple of spots like Dallas at Love Field and at Grand Prairie are at 34 degrees. McKinney's at 34. So once we drop 2 or below freezing, that's when all bets are off. That's when the freezing on the roads really begins in earnest, and that's when we will no longer see a little bit of a mix. That's when we'll see 100% snow. 100% snow occurring across the majority of North Texas, but not all of North Texas. So that's why these temperatures are so critical, and that's why I want to show you the timecast. It's our temperature timeline. Right now at DFW, we're at 33 degrees. At 6 o'clock, so in about 2.5 hours or so, about an hour and a half, we're going to drop to 32 degrees. That's at DFW. Other locations are already there. In those other locations that are already at 32, you'll drop below 32 faster than that. But at DFW, 6 o'clock, 32. Watch what happens at midnight. We fall to 31. And then at 6 o'clock in the morning, we drop even colder to 30 degrees. So my point to this is that as we head through the evening and then through the overnight, temperatures will fall. And all of that moisture that's on the ground right now, all of the slush, all of the snow that's falling, that's currently melting, that's going to freeze later on tonight. No doubt here as we begin our evening rush hour, we're going to have some problems across the area. But I think once things ice up overnight tonight and then throughout the morning rush tomorrow, that's when we're going to have some pretty serious problems. So I want you to take note of that. Give yourself, if you have to head out early tomorrow morning to work, definitely give yourself some extra time. And if you can work at home, that's an even better bet. That's the reason that all of these schools are being closed right now and other events are being called off, is due to the large amount of snow and the forecast that we have, which is not conducive for melting. It's very conducive for freezing and a lot of ice. Cedar Hill, let's head down to Weatherbug at Bray Elementary where it's 33. Look at the snow-covered trees. It has been a beautiful, beautiful wet snowfall for us here in the area. We have east-northeast winds in Weatherbug at this location at 10, giving us a wind chill of 24 degrees. How much snow have we seen up till this point? DFW has picked up a record for the day. The old record for this date was 1.4. Take a look at that, 6.3, and we still have, 6-7.5 hours to go before we officially close out this calendar day. But 6.3 at DFW, the largest snow that we have ever seen in one day, one calendar day at DFW was back in 1978 when we had 7.5 inches of snow. So another inch or so of snow in our forecast? Absolutely. We have a couple of more inches of potential in our forecast, and with more snow in the forecast and problems, at least potential problems area-wide, that's why we have the winter storm warning that's in effect right now, and it runs until midnight. Wouldn't be surprised if that extended a bit past midnight, and the reason is this, the snow. Here's your forecast at 6 o'clock tonight. Snow is in place. At the midnight hour, there's the back edge of the snow. It will slowly start to move through overnight tonight, and by 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, snow will be falling in East Texas. But what will we be left with? This is storm total. This isn't how much more additional snow I expect. It's how much total that we're going to pick up. Dallas, Fort Worth, Plano, McKinney, Denton, 7 to 9 inches of snow. Areas to the northwest of you, you'll see 9 to 11 inches of snow. Some locations have already picked up 9 inches in this dark blue bullseye. Lighter amounts the farther southeast you go, but right here in Dallas and Fort Worth, 7 to 9, 9 to 11 from Bridgeport to Mineral Wells, Weatherford, Graham, Gainesville, Jacksboro, 9 to 11 inches of snow in your forecast. Take a look at some of these pictures. Jim Thomas sent this one in from Plano. This is part of the building at Parkway Hills Baptist Church. My thanks to Jim for sending this picture in. You can see a snow-covered church steeple there. The next one comes from Steve Spainhour. Steve sent this one in McKinney, and you can pick up, I believe, that is about 3 inches of snow from Steve, so my thanks to him. And have you been out, John, to Dallas Baptist University? Blake Killingsworth sent this one to me. Beautiful, beautiful picture there. Dallas Baptist University, my thanks to Blake. And these are some of the students that Blake took a picture of building their own snowman there with the building in the background. So my thanks to Blake and everyone else that has sent these pictures in to us. John and Shelley, here's a little perspective. The 7th snowiest season on record is this winter, the winter of 2009-2010. So far, it's the 3rd snowiest February on record. And remember, for this date, a record snowfall. So far, 6.3 and more to come. It's going to be about 8 to 10 hours before it finally ends.
All right, thanks a lot, Pete. Hey, don't forget that you can always check out live radar. It's on WFAA.com. Just look for My Own Radar.
You know, some people are blaming a fight today at Skyline High School on the weather. So many teachers stayed home. It led to a lot of chaos on campus. Channel 8's Brett Shipp has that exclusive story.
It started innocently enough. A few snowballs were hurled, a few pushes and shoves. And then, according to witnesses, a few gang signs were thrown, and then the punches.
Where's security? They got snowballed pretty bad. I don't think they want to mess with us right now. But it's getting pretty intense right now. They tried something friendly, but people get ignorant. They just start messing around and throwing gang signs and stuff.
Was this a bad call, making kids come to school today, or just letting them out?
No, it's pretty bad. It's a snow day. It's rather not, because kids, they're going to over-rebel the security. And security can't do much other than just tell them to go. I don't think they're going to get that violent.
Now, Skyline Principal Harold Wright told us that he will thoroughly investigate this situation and hold all the students accountable who were involved, and he will hold those adults accountable also who were nowhere to be found. Still, the question remains, how does such an event occur on a campus without school officials knowing that it's going on? The only people around to stop that fight was our crew, and we had several gestures towards us that were unfriendly as we approached that crowd of students who were out of control. We'll have more of that in the 6 o'clock hour. Reporting live, Brett Shipp, Channel 8 News.
All right, Brett, thanks a lot. You know, most North Texas students are already home from school today. Several districts, however, have announced that they will be closed tomorrow, including Fort Worth. Now, we have a complete list of closings and cancellations. We're keeping it on our website, updating it for you each minute. It's at WFAA.com. Of course, trash pickup, recycling, yard waste collections in Fort Worth, they're going to be moved forward one day due to the weather. Regularly scheduled Thursday collections, this means, will be made now on Friday. And Friday collections are going to be shifted to Saturday. Now, if the icy conditions continue to be a problem tomorrow, the city may revise that schedule yet again. More than 33,000 North Texans right now without electricity. The problem is being blamed, we're told, on snow-covered tree limbs that are actually coming into contact with lines. Our Encore crews, busy right now working to restore the power.
Denton's been dealing with many snow-related issues, just like everybody else today. Let's check in with Craig Savali. He's live there for us now. Hi, Craig.
Hey guys, the snow's been coming down here in Denton County pretty much like this throughout the day. It's been accumulating here on the grass, you can see. It's been accumulating out on the cars. It's been creating a lot of slush down here on the roadways and down here. And when you take a look at the main drags, though, they've been holding up pretty well. One of the things we want to point out is just a short time ago, we spoke with the emergency manager here in the city of Denton, who is preparing for the hours ahead as the temperatures drop and some of the situations they're looking to encounter. Guys.
Really 3 concerns with this weather event. One is transportation, of course. Second is power. Third is all the snow, this wet snow that we're having with this particular event, accumulating on roofs and other elevated surfaces that could collapse.
As we head into the evening, a lot of people are going to be watching the temperature very closely. Give us an idea how you guys are monitoring that.
And as we've had the snowfall today and the mixture of sleet and freezing rain, very concerned with that freezing over tonight, of course, and impacting travel and electricity outages and any other potential problems.
Are you planning on opening any shelters in the city?
We're in close contact with the American Red Cross on shelter operations and standing up a shelter at one of our city recreation centers if needed for a warming center or even to stay overnight if we get into a prolonged power outage.
Now back here live now, this is the town square. You're looking at what's turned into kind of a massive snowball fight down here. This is the second one they've had down here throughout the day. A lot of students, some who were off, some who were let out early from the universities, have come down here and basically turned town square in downtown Denton into a massive snowball fight. Gonna have a little bit more on that part of the story coming up in about 20 minutes. But for now, reporting live in Denton, Craig Savali, Channel 8 News.
All right, the fun side of the story, we'll get to that in a little bit. Now, the winter storm could not have come at a worse time, though, for the NBA All-Star Game being played here this weekend. Organizers are scrambling, but will anything major really change? Channel 8's Rebecca Lopez is here to answer that question. What are they thinking, Rebecca?
It's Texas. What do you expect? Expect the unexpected, I guess. Get ready for everything.
Workers preparing for the NBA All-Star Game didn't expect to be shoveling snow. They're still out setting up tents and preparing for thousands of fans.
I said it hasn't canceled or slowed down anything.
Dallas police say they aren't scaling back operations and still have hundreds of extra officers on the street. Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban told me he thinks fans will show up, but the snow may slow things down. He told me he's not concerned, but realistic that it might. But all is still a go for the Majestic Theater and Mary J. Blige tonight.
You stay warm, my gosh.
These women in for the game said they were surprised by the unusual Texas weather.
Well, I'm from Florida. I'm wearing like 4 shirts right now.
They're concerned about the players making it in town in time for all the parties and events.
And I worry about folks coming in for this. You know, the players are supposed to be flying in today and tomorrow, and officials and all that. So, I mean, I don't know what kind of impact it's going to have on them, because it's only going to get worse because it's going to ice tonight and ice tomorrow. So
the NBA says no worries. Everything is going as planned. There are some changes in venues, so you might want to check our website at WFAA.com for the latest information. Reporting live, Rebecca Lopez, Channel 8 News.
All right, Rebecca, thanks a lot. You know, because of the weather, we're preempting today's Oprah Winfrey Show, but you do not have to miss it. It will be re-airing tomorrow morning, 3:10 in the morning here on Channel 8. Or you can actually watch it at 8 o'clock tonight. It'll be on Channel 52. Yes, there are some drawbacks having so much snow on the ground, but, you know, for some people, kids especially, this is just great. The snow fun when we come back.
And Mesquite is just one of the places where people are having fun in the snow today. If you're not driving, it is a winter wonderland.
The cats, however, may call this something else. We'll be right back.
And welcome back to News 8's extended coverage of the snowfall here in North Texas. I'm standing here just at the Victory Park Studios at the corner of Houston and Olive in downtown Dallas, the scene of the NBA All-Star weekend that is about to take off. And we're, of course, watching the traffic very carefully for all the visitors who are also in town for the big weekend. As we take a look outside with our TxDOT cameras right now, not a whole lot of accidents. We do have an issue right here in the Tarrant County area, eastbound I-20, right there at the Kelly Elliott exit. But for right now, traffic is moving relatively well in certain spots like the George Bush Turnpike and 75, still just dealing with a lot of slush. But in other parts of the Metroplex, especially those elevated interchanges and those overpasses, we are beginning to experience our first trouble with some small patches of ice. The sand trucks, as TxDOT tells me, have been out there in force, sanding down those elevated interchanges, the bridges and the overpasses. But the problem is with the continuous snowfall, once they put the sand down, the snow also comes down and pretty much undoes the work that they've done. So we're seeing a lot of drivers right now not causing an accidents, but really struggling on those overpasses and those elevated interchanges. And that is causing this kind of mess that you see right here along Woodall Rogers near the Arts District in downtown Dallas, causing a lot of delays in parts of North Texas. So again, at this point, dealing with a lot of slush, not a lot of accidents, but Shelley and John, it is going to take a long time for a lot of folks to get home tonight. So now is the time to get on the road, but prepare to spend an extra 45 minutes in the car at this point, just making it home for dinner. guys.
All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Alexa, of course, you can see every morning, News 8 Daybreak, 5 to 7 a.m., telling you everything you need to know about the traffic. Speaking of traffic, this is Jam Cam, which right now is headed north on 45 into Dallas, and you can see the snow continues to come down and continues to be a problem for us. Brian Titsworth is behind the wheel on that car. Brian, what do you have?
Hi, John. Well, we've got a little bit of sleet down here, a little bit of difference. The snow is kind of mixed with a little sleet. You can actually hear it on the windshield.
And what about other drivers right near you? How's the driving going? Do you feel like people are taking it slow or just kind of pushing it and acting like this is a regular old day?
People are actually starting to slow down a lot more, quite noticeably. There's still a few people in a hurry, but for the most part, people are slowing down because the roads are kind of changing over. There's a little less coming up off of the ground, and you can tell that we're starting to have a few problems.
Yeah, that's the question I had for you, Brian. I was driving a little earlier today, and the roads didn't seem to be too bad except for the slush. Have you been moving around a little, though?
Yeah, a little bit. I noticed for a little bit when I got off on the service road, those are definitely getting a lot worse. It's more compacted over there. There's less traveled, and it's really starting to turn pretty slick.
All right, thanks so much, Brian Titsworth, one of our photographers out on the streets for us. I'm already hearing from loved ones, Pete, that it's getting a lot harder to get home, that it's taking forever, just like Alexa said. So here we go.
Yeah, here we go, Shelley. I really believe that this is just the beginning of it as we head through the evening and then during the overnight. As temperatures drop below freezing, you can see there at the bottom right corner of your screen, we're at 33 degrees. That's at downtown Dallas at Victory Park. We're around the same number at DFW, but other places are at 32. A couple of spots are even at 31. And I believe by 6 tomorrow morning, we'll drop to 30 degrees. So that means all this mess, all this slush on the ground is going to freeze, and that means a lot of ice on area roadways tomorrow morning. Check out the radar. The snow continues to fall across North Texas. It's not going to let up. We have another 10 hours, at least 8, close to 10 hours of snow in our forecast. And Brian was down on 45. I want to zoom down to the south because he mentioned a little bit of sleet was hitting his windshield. As you look down in that general direction, you can see that we do have a little bit of sleet just to the south of Corsicana, down around Fairfield, and a little bit of rain and sleet down around Centerville. So we're going to continue to keep that rain and sleet mix down there. But here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we're looking at all snow, and snow it has happened. Let me tell you, Nocona, Gale Smith, 8.5 inches has happened up in Montague County. David Aud in Red Oak, 7.5. Bobby Clark in McKinney, 6 inches. In Double Oak, Weston Geisler picked up 5.5, and another couple of inches are in our forecast. Now, I'll be back in a few minutes. I'll have more details on that. I'll tell you exactly when I believe it will snow, what temperatures will be like at 6 tomorrow morning. And Shelley, I've got a pretty good looking weekend forecast. I'll have those details coming up.
Okay, Pete, we are getting so many school closings. We want to go back over those with you, parents that are just maybe coming home from work. Dallas ISD, Hearst, Euless, Bedford, Keller, Melissa, Springtown, Northwest ISD, Arlington, Mansfield, Lancaster, Cedar Hill.
Birdville and McKinney ISD also closing down tomorrow. Going to keep an eye on the bottom of your screen. Now, throughout the entire evening, we're going to make sure that you know all the information. We'll keep the closures there for you. We'll be right back. Well, the traffic getting ready to be a big story right now.
Absolutely. It's almost 5 o'clock and people are probably already on the roads, and Alexa's saying it's going to take you a lot longer.
It is going to take a lot longer. If you're waiting for someone to come home, a loved one to come home, don't want to hold dinner for him, keep it warm in the oven because we're logging about an extra 45 minutes now for the average drive throughout North Texas to get home. As we take a live look outside right now with TxDOT, we're just starting to see a couple of accidents emerge. And this has been a trouble spot throughout the day. I-20 westbound in the Arlington area moving over toward Fort Worth. Right there at Kelly Elliott and Park Springs is where we've had a couple of accidents today. Just some slick spots that we're recording. And this right now is the latest accident there, pulled over to the right side. Throughout the rest of the Metroplex, we're seeing a lot of really slow traffic as folks continue to deal with slush. Talked to TxDOT just a couple of minutes ago. They've got those sand trucks out there in force, but the problem is the sand trucks are having a really hard time keeping up with all of those elevated interchanges with all this snow coming down. So a lot of drivers are going to struggle with those elevated overpasses and major interchanges, and that is really going to add to the traffic story as we make our way now through the evening rush. So again, allow yourself a lot of extra time as you prepare to head home. today. And we'll keep you covered again the next couple of minutes. Shelley and John, back over to you.
Alexa will help us through the whole thing, so keep it here. You know, the weather has some North Texas florists pretty much in a scary spot. Valentine's Day is the biggest time of the year, but road conditions tomorrow could be treacherous for flower delivery drivers. Plus, your sweetheart may not even make it into the office to receive the flowers tomorrow. If you can, ask your florist to try and change your delivery to Saturday. Downtown Dallas looking like the winter white today, from the skyscrapers up high to the street level. Even the famous steel sculptures have a heavy coat of snow.
Our coverage does not end and continues, in fact, for the next hour.
Heavy snow, so much so it's bringing down large tents in Fort Worth.
Several more will come down if the snow continues.
The snow won't be over for hours, but crews are ready.
Our crews are going to continue to work 24/7 through this event.
And while thousands are working to keep you safe, thousands more are taking advantage of the outside.
Because I like doing snowball fights and making a snowman.
From the fun to the dangers on the roads.
I'm very concerned that, I saw cars on the side of the road and in ditches, and I don't want that to be me.
And the people stuck at the airports. We have you covered for this North Texas winter storm.
Live from Victory Park, this is News 8 Now in high definition.
And we start here at 5 with a lot of school closing as the winter weather continues to fall. As you can see, it is still snowing here in Dallas. Major school districts: Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, Keller, Lancaster, Mansfield, McKinney,
Midlothian, Northwest, Birdville, Sanger, Hearst, Euless, Bedford, Springtown.
Also Melissa, Cedar Hill, Crowley, Carroll, Aubrey ISD. Now, Carrollton Farmers Branch is a little different. They're only delayed for 2 hours.
Irving and Denton just made the call within the past half hour. There are also closings tonight, and as they come in, we'll continue to update that list, and you can see it anytime. At the bottom of your screen, we're getting rain and snow.
Getting
Shelley?
a little bit of everything, but that's all right, because we want to show you the elements that so many people are having to deal with on their way home. It looks like the record snowstorm is going to get a lot worse before it's going to get better. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shelley Slater.
And I'm Gloria Campos. Take a look. I've got a Dallas, Texas-sized snowball right
Hard to
here.
believe that we can have that here.
That's
you
right.
can actually pack it together, but that's certainly the kind of day we've had here around North Texas. That's what's going on here, but in other places, they are seeing up to 9 inches of snow. West of Fort Worth, well, they're seeing anywhere between 8.5 inches to 9 inches of snow. We could see as many as 7 to 9 inches, which is definitely breaking records here.
That's right, and tracking all of this for us inside, I might add, is Pete. And Pete, the amount of snow that we're going to get is going to be significant for North Texas, isn't it?
Well, as a matter of fact, Gloria, it's one of the largest snowfalls on record. Now, just for this date, okay, just for the date, the record for today is 1.4 inches. That was set back in 1988. So far at DFW, we have picked up 6.3 inches of snow. Now, that's as of 4:30, so we're still waiting for more information to come in from the National Weather Service to see if we've gotten a 6.4 or 6.5. But no matter how you look at it, record snowfall for this date, and it will go down as one of the largest calendar day snowfalls on record in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Big indeed, and it continues to come down. Take a look at News 8 DopplerNet. The snow is falling area-wide. It's not going to end for at least another 6 to 8, maybe as long as 10 hours. The snow will stay in place. There's that wintry mix to the south, down around Hillsboro, Itasca, Italy, down around Waco. But here in Dallas and Fort Worth, snow, light to moderate. At times, a couple of spots are seeing some heavy snow. And at 6 o'clock tonight, we'll keep the snow around. At midnight, it will still be in place. By 6 o'clock in the morning, nothing will be falling from the sky except areas to the east of us. In East Texas, you'll have some snow falling. But I want you to know, all the slush that's on the ground by 6 o'clock in the morning, temperatures are going to drop, and all that slush, take a look at JamCam. It's just to the south of downtown Dallas right now, and that's the slush that I'm referring to. JamCam is on I-45. That slush will freeze as temperatures drop close to 30 degrees, and a lot of ice will be on area roadways. Let me give you the timecast. I have the temperature timecast for you, and this will detail it very nicely. 33 degrees right now. At 6 o'clock, we'll drop another degree to 32. By midnight, we will fall one more degree to 31 degrees, and by 6 tomorrow morning, we will continue to slowly dip down below freezing. By 6 o'clock in the morning, we will indeed fall to 30 degrees. So temperatures are going to fall, the slush is going to freeze, and we're going to have some big problems on area roadways. I do expect it to be in place. I'll have sunshine in our forecast and better weather coming up.
This is an awning collapse at Villa Del Mar Apartments in Arlington. The weight of the snow, of course, bringing it down. About 4 vehicles were underneath this awning when this happened.
And just a few miles away in Fort Worth, take a look at Bruce Lowry Chevrolet. The weight of the snow has collapsed 3 to 4 awnings that were right on top of a bunch of cars. We just checked in with them. They have been able to get all of the cars out, but still they've got about $750,000 in damage.
Well, one of the biggest concerns out there right now, the roads. While we're only close to freezing right now, what's falling has been piling up now, and it's significant for more than 12 hours. Dallas has responded to more than 108 accidents since the snow started falling. Fort Worth has gone out on more than 175 since midnight. To make it safer, sand and salt trucks will be spread out all over the roads, and they've been out since 2 a.m. treating them. We've checked with Fort Worth, Dallas, and TxDOT, and they tell us they have enough de-icer to last for at least 4 days. And one of the most dangerous areas right now, of course, always the high 5. Its elevation allows it to freeze much easier. And that's where we find Channel 8's Monica Diaz, who is live for us right now. Monica, what's the situation there?
Gloria, so far, so good. If you take a look behind me, traffic is moving. Traffic is starting to slow down a bit on Highway 75 heading north, but no major problems and no sign of ice. But here's the problem: when we start getting into the overnight, all this slush, when all of this starts turning into ice, when the temperatures dip, that's when we'll start seeing these problems. As some drivers navigated snow-covered North Texas roads, they couldn't help but smile.
Well, I'm excited for it. We don't see this very often.
Even TxDOT got in the fun, but the agency has launched a 24-hour operation preparing for all the slush on the road to turn into ice. More than 60 trucks are on patrol, dozens more are on standby.
The biggest concern is going to be tomorrow morning's rush, trying to stay on top of the icy conditions and deal with traffic at the same time.
Scouting bridges, ramps, and overpasses. As soon as crews spot ice, they will start dropping their loads, a mix of sand and salt.
4721, Route 73K through P. No sand needed at 1037.
At the City of Dallas, the Streets Department dispatched 30 trucks, gearing up to increase resources if needed.
We expect the temperatures to start dropping, I think, around 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, and so we'll be monitoring those bridges closely.
Icy conditions some drivers want to avoid.
I'm not planning on leaving the house. Once I get in, I'm staying in. That would be the safe thing to do.
And TxDOT is asking drivers tomorrow morning, if you can stay indoors and not be on the road, do it. They know it. They might be dealing with treacherous conditions out in the roads tomorrow. We're live in Dallas. Monica Diaz, Channel 8 News.
Now in Tarrant County, roads there are getting worse as well. Channel 8's Janet St. James is in Fort Worth. Janet, what are you seeing there?
Well, right now, Interstate 30 behind me is moving along at a very good clip. Freeways have been basically clear most of the day here in Fort Worth. Within the last 2 hours, however, calls for help have increased. Fort Worth police right now are working about 20 accidents, and authorities are expecting tonight to be even more trouble.
It's not too bad right now, just a lot of traffic.
But Ronnie Sanders and William Smith of the Tarrant County Sheriff Courtesy Patrol are bracing for a busy rush hour.
We've got a van that's stalled out with the tires missing.
The patrol has 3 roving vehicles out assisting motorists caught on slushy freeways. This van's tire fell off without warning on I-35W near 28.
Next thing I know, we wasn't going nowhere.
And neither then was traffic.
Just go ahead and have them shut that ramp down so we can get this moved.
Courtesy Patrol expects to work triple the number of calls tonight. Fort Worth police worked dozens of accidents throughout the day, mostly on side streets where melting snow was most challenging for drivers. Even some who managed to negotiate the streets found problems at the pump.
I'm in.
This Shell station near University found its system iffy for hours. Drivers had to pay cash in order to get gas, not just in Fort Worth, but across North Texas today. We expect those problems to continue again tomorrow. That courtesy patrol that we were out with for about an hour today, they're also carrying gas in the back of their vehicle. Reporting live from Fort Worth, Janet St. James, Channel 8 News.
Well, side roads are not the only problem here at 5. We're starting to see slick roads across both Dallas and Fort Worth, and Channel 8's Alexa Conamos is monitoring all the traffic conditions for us. She's back with us now, live outside. So, Alexa, what's it like out there right now on the streets?
Well, I'll tell you what, it took me an extra 40 minutes to get to work today, and I don't live that far away. So for a lot of the folks who are just preparing to leave, or if you're waiting for a loved one to come home, just know that the average drive throughout North Texas might now take an extra 35 or 40 minutes. This is a look right now at one of several problems that's emerging throughout the Metroplex. This is just close to where we are live today, right here in front of Victory Park. Northbound 35 Stemmons right there at Highline. We have an accident that was pulled over to the shoulder, and that's going to cause some problems right around the Dallas Mixmaster and for anyone trying to get in and out of downtown Dallas today. Likewise, across the Metroplex in Tarrant County, we've had a lot of problems throughout the day along I-20, moving in from Arlington toward Fort Worth, along that westbound side at Kelly Elliott and Park Springs. A lot of the elevated surfaces, those interchanges, overpasses, are getting really, really slick right now. As we check in right now live with JamCam. This is along I-20, by the way, right around the Balch Springs area, where traffic, as you can see, is moving only at about 35 miles an hour. We're behind some Dallas County school buses that you can see are taking it very slowly today. So for right now, the traffic story that's emerging, a lot of those elevated interchanges and overpasses are having a lot of problems because the sand trucks get out there, they lay down the sand, but then more snow comes, and then that covers that sand, making for some very slick conditions. So travel is going to become treacherous the next couple of hours along those interchanges as we see that changeover. So for right now, logging some accidents throughout the Metroplex, still dealing with slush and getting our first reports of some ice patches along those surfaces. We'll keep you updated, of course, and we're watching out for tomorrow morning. We'll cover this early on Daybreak as well. We'll start at 4:30. Gloria and Shelley?
All right, thanks a lot, Alexa. Well, needless to say, another major problem, and it's only going to get worse. Power outages. They continue to climb here at 5. Encore tells us as of 2 hours ago, some 40,000 customers are without power. They have crews out working to get that power back on. The problem, snow-covered tree limbs. We've reported on this before. They come into contact with those power lines and bring them down.
Now to a News 8 exclusive. DISD officials are defending their decision to hold school today despite a chaotic scene at Skyline High School, which may have been the result of too little supervision. One student was hospitalized, at least one other was injured when a schoolyard snowball fight erupted into multiple fistfights. Just take a close look. Witnesses say that for more than an hour, students played in the snow and became so rowdy that the situation just got out of control. A News 8 camera was rolling as the violence escalated, and at one point, the anger was turned towards us, yet security never engaged the students.
We felt like it was the right decision. Now, we're obviously concerned about the situation and what took place over at Skyline, and we'll see, how this impacts our decisions as we go forward.
Now remember, Dallas ISD has canceled school already for tomorrow.
Well, many North Texas students got a snow day today, but districts in one county decided to stay open. The reason for not ringing the school bell.
Plus, from building snowmen to snowballs, what kids and adults are doing with their time off today.
And here's now another look at some pictures. This is a look at some kids out enjoying some snow today. Oh, to be a kid again, because I think kids and dogs might enjoy a little bit of time outside today. All right.
We want to get back to our school closings. We just got 2 new ones. Waxahachie and Aledo both canceled for tomorrow. Now here's the rest of the list. Fort Worth, Dallas, Arlington, Keller, Lancaster, Mansfield, McKinney.
You're seeing many of them on your screen right now, as you saw Midlothian, Northwest, Birdville, Sanger, Hurst-Euless, Bedford, Springtown.
Melissa, Cedar Hill, Crowley, Carroll, Aubrey ISD, Carrollton, Farmers Branch, just the 2-hour delay there.
Irving and Denton just made the call, we're told. And as we just mentioned, we just heard from Waxahachie and the Aledo school districts. They too will not open. So we ask you to continue to watch that list because it is changing by the minute, and we'll try to keep you up to date as best we can. Now, one of the hardest hit areas today is Denton. We've already gotten at least 6 inches of snow there the last time we checked in, and Channel 8's Craig Savali is live for us this afternoon, and he's got an update for us. Craig?
Hey, Gloria. Yeah, the snow has been coming down here in Denton throughout the day. It's created some accumulations, and out here at the town square, it has kind of created at times kind of a wintry animal house at times. Crowds are starting to go away right now, but they've had massive snowball fights out here in town square. It had gotten so bad at one point that we actually had to contact the Denton police to come out and help us out because our live truck and our personnel here were getting inundated by a lot of the revelers out here just kind of attacking us with snowballs. It was all in good fun. I mean, the police came out here, kind of cleared up some of these crowds right now. Just part of our interesting day here in Denton. It looked like a winter wonderland. The thick, heavy snow started coming down around 6:30 and blanketed the campus of the University of North Texas.
It's nice to look at, but it's messy.
And those messy roads caused for some minor wrecks on the drive to work and kept extra police patrols busy throughout the day.
When it gets like this, we will start getting a lot of them in the ditches, a lot of them just running off the road.
There are no snow plows in the city, but Denton's 4 sand trucks did what they could.
If we can just at least keep it as a slush instead of it being ice, that's the best we can hope for at this point.
And one of the more dangerous spots ended up being the city's town square, where more than 100 people gathered in a massive snowball fight.
We all heard that there was going to be a citywide snowball fight at the square at 12:30, so we all joined in.
Students, mostly from UNT, were let out early and through text messaging and social networking, met up for an old-fashioned fight in the snow.
It's a lot of fun. We're enjoying our day off and trying to stay warm.
Emergency officials tell us they're going to be keeping busy throughout the night, watching at times this pretty snow to make sure it doesn't melt down and freeze overnight here in the city. That is the latest. We're live in Denton. Craig Savali, Channel 8 News.
Well, you know, most school districts in Collin County did stay open during today's winter storm. Fortunately, most snow on the neighborhood streets turned into slush, making the roads still pretty drivable. Channel 8 Steve Stoller's joining us live from Frisco. Steve, had it been just a little bit colder, things could have been so much different.
Oh, Shelley, you're so right. Just a few degrees colder and it would have been below freezing. And a lot of that snow that caked up on lawns would have been on the roadways, making for a very, very difficult situation for parents to get to schools to pick up their kids. But because of this slush, which was a welcome sight in many ways to school administrators and parents, they went ahead with school in most Collin County school districts. Of course, tomorrow morning it's going to be a much different story when all that water that's on the roadway now freezes. Back to you guys. Pete,
we're hearing a lot about the ice now, Gloria.
That's right. It is still snowing here at Victory Park. Pete, what's the latest?
Well, I tell you what, Gloria, we have a record snowfall for this date. As a matter of fact, the old record for today was 1.4 inches, and officially at DFW, we've shattered that record. So far, and it's still snowing, so far we've seen 6.5 inches of snow. That's the most snow at DFW since February 17, 1978, when we picked up 7.5 inches of snow. That's the largest single-day snowfall on record at DFW. That's 7.5. We're 1 inch away, and we're be very close to having that record for this date. Take a look at what's happening out there right now. The snow continues to fall, light to moderate. It's not going to let up for several more hours. It's widespread right now across the area, but look what's happening to the west. We have about another, let's say 3, 4, maybe 5 hours till about 9 o'clock tonight. I do expect steady snow to be in place across the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Let's hit that. We'll zoom off to the west, and as you see what's going on, this is the back edge of the snow. So till about 9 o'clock tonight, we'll have steady snow, and then from 9 until 3 o'clock in the morning, we'll have this more scattered snow or just some more light activity that will move through. So it's 5:20 right now, about another 4 hours of steady snow, and then we'll have 6 hours of scattered snow showers after that. That's the way the forecast shapes up. Weather bug, I want to head north to Plano, Prince of Peace School. Look at the snow-covered landscape there. 34 is the temperature, light winds, a wind chill of 32 degrees right now. Snow-covered landscape in Plano and area-wide. St. Joe, Rob Haley has picked up 8 inches of snow. Red Oak, David Aud, 7.5. In McKinney, Joel Younglove has picked up 6 inches, and in Double Oak, Weston Geisler has picked up 5 inches of snow. Snow totals from other locations: Addison 5, Denton 8.5 at our location, 8 inches of snow in Decatur, 6 in Fort Worth. Look at Waxahachie and Lancaster, 5 inches of snow. Terrell, 3.5. Greenville, 5. There's your 7 in McKinney and 5.3 at Love Field. 6 o'clock, the snow is still in place. It will become scattered during the overnight period, and by 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, dry weather will prevail, but not before we pick up another couple of inches. Storm total, how much are we going to have by the time it's all said and done? 7 to 9. Here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, lighter amounts to the southeast and higher amounts to the northwest. 9 to 11 from Graham to Bridgeport to Gainesville. So the winter storm warning that's in effect stays in place until midnight. Light snow to at times moderate stays likely. An additional 1 to 2. 30 degrees, that will be our low temperature. I expect us to get below freezing here in the next 4 to 5 hours, and at 6 o'clock in the morning, we'll hit 30 degrees. 37 tomorrow, peaks of late day sunshine, but icy roads, icy conditions in the morning because all of the slush, as we drop to 30 and below freezing, all of that slush is going to freeze. There you go, the next 7 days. Saturday looks nice, sunshine and 40. Valentine's Day on Sunday, sunny, partly sunny and 45. We'll hit 49 with sunshine on President's Day, 52 on Tuesday, 51 on Wednesday, and 53 the high on Thursday. We've had a lot of pictures sent in. Blake Killingsworth from Dallas Baptist University sent these gorgeous pictures to us. My thanks to Blake, a beautiful campus. Nate Olguin sent these pictures to us from Allen. My thanks to Nate. And send us your pictures too. We'll put them on the air and we'll have more News 8 at 5 continuing right after this.
Well, while this weather may cause some problems, it means a lot of fun for kids, and they took advantage of it big time today as families created some very white memories together.
Because I like doing snowball fights and making a snowman.
Forget snowballs. 5-year-old Jack Whalen is into throwing snow mounds, one after the other, at his parents, at this dog, and definitely at me.
You know, Jack, you throw something at me, I might throw it at you. What do you think of that? Oh!
While fun is the name of the game for Jack, Mom Barbara says this is about making family memories.
Having your own kids and seeing them in the snow is just, it's magical.
Look at that.
Which is why every moment is being captured.
Hey, can you strike a pose?
Jack's not shy, as you can see. You ask for a smile.
Smile.
And voila, you get one, a big one.
It just brings you back to your own childhood and remember what it was like to wake up and see that snowfall.
I saw it outside my window.
For Barbara, her childhood was full of winter white, but somehow it is more special now.
I am a native Texan. I lived in Colorado for a few years when I was young, from age 3 to 11, so I saw a lot of this, but it's more fun in Texas.
Why is it more fun in Texas? Definitely not expected here in Texas.
That's right. There's a look right now outside one of our tower cams. We'll be back at 6. Right now, stay tuned to World News.
In districts throughout North Texas.
Anything you teach today, you're going to have to reteach when the kids come back.
As the hours tick by, the inches added up and the roads got worse.
We're going to get down about 28 or something like that. It's going to be bad. Yeah, so I mean, just you pray for us.
And while we might not be in the clear for a while, the fun might get better.
Good evening, I'm John McKay.
And I'm Gloria Campos. We have team coverage on the North Texas storm, including closings and cancellations. Several districts have already announced there will be no school tomorrow. Here's the list: Dallas, Fort Worth, Hurst, Euless, Bedford, Keller, Springtown, Melissa, Northwest, Arlington, Mansfield, Lancaster, Cedar Hill, Birdville, McKinney, Midlothian, Crowley, Carroll, Sanger, Aubrey, Denton, Irving, Aledo, Waxahachie. UNT Denton is also closed tomorrow. Schools in the Carrollton Farmers Branch ISD will be delayed 2 hours, they tell us now, but that could change. Keep an eye on the bottom of your screen for more closure information throughout the evening.
Our chief meteorologist, Pete Delkus, starts our team coverage on this North Texas winter storm. So, Pete, we have even had bigger concerns when the snow stops. The temperature now dropping?
Temperature is going to drop, John, as we head through the night. One of the largest snowfalls on record in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. On record, believe me, 7.3 inches as of 6 o'clock. That's right now, 7.3 inches. The largest February snowstorm. You got to look back to 1978, 1924, 7.5 inches. And the largest storm ever recorded in the Dallas-Fort Worth area at DFW is 7.8 inches. We are exactly a half an inch away from reaching the all-time record. That's quite a record, and I believe we'll get it as we head through tonight. Take a look at what's happening out there right now. We do have snow that continues to fall. Several more hours of steady snow in our forecast. I believe until 9 o'clock, so 3 more hours of steady snow in our forecast. We're seeing it right now, but back from Archer City to Graham to Breckenridge to Eastland, that's where it becomes a bit more scattered. So after 9 o'clock, I believe the snow will become a bit more scattered. Snow showers and snow flurries 9 until about 3 o'clock in the morning. That's just what the forecast has in it. This is 8 o'clock tonight. Steady snow until 8 o'clock, and then watch it become a bit more scattered as we head through the overnight period, and then it should all come to an end around 3, 4, maybe as late as 5 o'clock in the morning. What will our snowfall totals be? Well, I just talked about what we have at DFW. Grand total, this is by the time it's all said and done about 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 to 9 inches here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, with some locations just to the west and northwest of Fort Worth and Denton, 8 to 10 inches total. So some big problems on area roads because right now we have a lot of slush, we have a lot of moisture, a lot of water on the ground. Temperatures right now, it's 33 at DFW, 32 in Fort Worth, 32 in Denton, also in McKinney, 33 in Dallas. And as temperatures slowly fall overnight tonight, we're going to get to about 30 degrees at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, and all of that moisture is going to freeze, and that means big problems, Gloria, on area roadways. A lot of ice to contend with as people head out to work tomorrow morning. I'll be back in a few more minutes. I have sunshine. I have warm temperatures in the forecast. I'll tell you when coming up.
A lot of concerns out there for us that we don't normally deal with, Pete. News 8 Jam Cam has been on the road since this storm hit North Texas. Now take a look at this. This is an apartment complex, and the carport roof collapsed under the weight of snow and damaged 11 vehicles. This is in Coppell. We saw a similar scene in Arlington. Now, City Fire Department has asked the manager, and you might want to take this into consideration as well, that you need to remove snow from outbuildings, you know, awnings, dog houses, sheds, any kind of structure like that to avoid any additional collapses.
Dallas School District may be closed tomorrow, but more than 150,000 students did not get a snow day today. Now, while they had to come to class, News 8 has learned not all the staff showed up, and it didn't take long for chaos to erupt at Skyline High School in front of our News 8 cameras. Our Brett Shipp is live tonight with some exclusive video you won't see anywhere else. Brett?
John, at first we thought we were watching just kids having fun in the snow, and then it became apparent that what we were watching were hundreds of kids unsupervised and out of control. Our camera was rolling for nearly 10 minutes. Skyline High School students watching, cheering, encouraging a rolling wave of violence. Brutal blows exchanged between students, males fighting males, females fighting females. What started as a class-skipping romp in the snow after 1 hour turned chaotic. Security nowhere in sight.
Sam, when there's these many kids outside, the security can't stop all of them.
But I didn't see any security out here at all.
They're out here.
An hour already since they've been here. Hey, jump.
Oh, you guys have been out here an hour?
More than like an hour.
Like, since the beginning of school.
After a few minutes, we decided to present the only adult presence on the scene. We were met with threats and flying snowballs. Some students say there was little point of even coming to school today. Is there any classwork being done today?
Most of these teachers in these portables, they're just all right. It's too many kids not in class, and it's getting over. I mean, you know. The teachers can't do much.
Tell me that.
The teachers was helping us.
They were helping you what?
And we were throwing the snow at the security.
Tell me that.
We were throwing snowballs at the security.
Oh, how are they reacting?
They were just running away.
Leaving rowdy students totally unsupervised and one student to be injured so badly, he was transported to a local hospital.
Snowball fights, you know, sometimes are fun, and then they sometimes escalate out of control, and that's what happened in this case.
DISD officials are standing by their decision not to cancel school today, saying the roads were fine at 6 a.m. But the snow was bad enough that 50 staff members at Skyline High School chose to stay at home.
Number one, we're concerned that several staff members didn't show up today, which obviously was part of the catalyst for this taking place. There wasn't enough supervision for those students.
And while those students and teachers who did come to school were expected to stay all day, News 8 has learned that the central administrative staff at 3700 Ross were told they could go home an hour early. Reporting live, Brett Shipp, Channel 8 News.
All right, thanks a lot, Brett. Constantly getting new information on school cancellations. Number of school districts have canceled classes tomorrow. We have those at the bottom of the screen. You can also find them online. We've got them at WFAA.com.
On a night like tonight, traffic is usually an issue on the I-5 in Dallas and elsewhere. These are live pictures you're looking at right now. TxDOT has been treating the trouble spots, and so far cars and trucks are moving at a good pace. DART has shut down HOV lanes on I-30 in Dallas and some sections of HOV lanes on I-35, as well as a ramp between 75 and 635. Now, if you're thinking about taking DART tonight or tomorrow, DART is starting to experience some delays with the rush hour. It's planning to run trains all night long, they tell us, to keep ice from forming on the rails.
All right, take a look at the big problem in Fort Worth. An auto dealer, Loop 820 and the Hemphill, took a real beating. 6 tents. Now, these tents are used to cover cars. They actually collapsed under the weight of the snow. Power outages are growing tonight due to the weather. At last check, Encore had more than 40,000 customers in the dark. It was 33. Now it's up to 40,000. Big concern, snow-covered tree limbs coming in contact with power lines. Encore has crews trying to restore services.
Oh, back with us again, News 8 Daybreak traffic anchor Alexa Conomo. She's been watching the road since early this morning, and she's here again now with a look at the problems with the commute home, Alexa.
And Gloria and John, right now we're starting to see some trouble along those elevated interchanges and those overpasses because of ice, even though those ice trucks have been out there. We'll take a look right now at some of our mapping animation. This is a 3D look right now at the downtown Dallas area where some of that ice is beginning to accumulate, especially here along I-45 and I-30, moving up from Hutchins toward the downtown Dallas area. We're also starting to get some reports of accidents, especially along Highway 67, moving northbound from the Duncanville area over toward that split with 35E. So take a look at that problem right there along those northbound lanes of 67, just approaching Wheatland Road. And then a live look outside right now shows some of the trouble we're now beginning to experience with those elevated interchanges and over ramps. This stalled tractor trailer in Dallas County stuck at this major interchange. So now westbound I-20, the ramp to southbound 35 is closed because of those icy conditions. The sand truck is also on its way. Likewise, we're having problems on the southbound side, not too far away of Spur 408, also in Dallas County. That ramp to eastbound I-20 is also closed because of an accident and also the need to de-ice that area. So we're keeping a very close eye on those elevated interchanges like the High-5. That's where we are getting our first reports of some real trouble. And those sand trucks back out there to sand again. Gloria?
All right, and Alexa will join the Daybreak team starting at 4:30 tomorrow morning. They're on 30 minutes early to get you updated when you wake up.
Well, the NBA may be having some trouble with some of the businesses that may not make the money they were hoping for the All-Star weekend because of the snow. That story coming up.
The viewers sharing their snow day photos at WFAA.com. We're getting some great shots. This is from all across North Texas. You can upload yours right now. Just go to WFAA.com/UNews.
And stay tuned. More coverage of the North Texas winter storm continues after this.
This winter storm has led to Southwest American Airlines to cancel flights throughout the day. Our Brad Watson joins us now live from DFW Airport with more on that. Brad?
John, a frustrating day out here at DFW, as you might imagine. 350 departures canceled. So a lot of passengers out here have to scramble. And here's what those unlucky passengers saw as they looked up here today, looking at their flights. A lot of blue. Canceled, 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 so and so it went. And there were potential delays also for those who got on their planes. And that is because flights set to leave first had to be de-iced. Very often that takes like 20 minutes, maybe longer, as the planes begin to stack up. DFW estimates about 400 planes were de-iced today. They started before 6 o'clock at their 5 de-icing pads out there on the airport. And all this de-icing will continue on flights that are getting out until the snow stops, and that could be later on this evening. Passengers out here now who are still planning to get on their flights, hoping they'll get on their flights and hoping that they won't see blue for their flight up here later tonight. Live at DFW, Brad Watson, Channel 8 News.
Now, Southwest Airlines say they're in the same situation at Dallas Love Field. It is a big weekend, of course, for Southwest. It is the official airline of the NBA, and they're expecting a lot of people flying in over the next few days for the All-Star game. Now, Southwest tells us it has canceled 40 flights so far today, and delays are running about 30 minutes to an hour, and of course, de-icing continues.
If you're just joining us, Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, now Plano have canceled classes tomorrow. We've got that full list for you. It's at the bottom of your screen.
And we are still taking your beautiful photographs and video online at WFAA.com and share what's going on in your neighborhood right now.
And don't go away. Pete's back with his forecast right after this.
The NBA All-Star Weekend is getting off to a snowy start as the jam session kicks off tonight. Snow might be the last thing you'd expect to have to deal with planning a basketball game in Texas, no less. But the NBA is trying to overcome that challenge tonight. And Channel 8's Rebecca Lopez is live in downtown Dallas with more on that story. Rebecca?
Well, Dallas Mavs owner Mark Cuban and the NBA say that all the events are going on as planned, but the snow may be having an impact on businesses hoping to make a lot of money off of customers. At the Butcher Shop Steakhouse, they are stocking up and getting ready for customers in town for NBA All-Star Weekend.
We're going forward just like the snow's not even there.
But business owners concede that at least for tonight, they don't expect the big crowds they were hoping to draw in.
I think tonight will be a little bit slower than what's expected, but I think by tomorrow, Friday and Saturday, it'll be rolling just great.
You stay warm, my gosh.
Fans in town for the game seem to be caught off guard by the unusual North Texas weather.
I'm from Florida. I'm wearing like 4 shirts right now.
I looked out the hotel window this morning and said I'm in Denver, not in Dallas.
Dallas Maverick owner Mark Cuban said he still thinks fans will show up, but the snow may slow things down. He said he's not concerned but realistic that it might. But all is still a go for the Majestic Theater and Mary J. Blige tonight. Dallas has been planning for this big event and party for years, and the snow isn't going to put a damper on things. Rebecca Lopez, Channel 8 News.
Now, our News 8 Jam Cam is still out, helping us keep an eye on the roads. Now, take a look. We're told that this is 635 in Mesquite. Traffic moving along fairly well, but as you see, the windshield wipers still working because some snow is still coming down, although not as heavy as it was earlier in this evening, but still an issue out there for us. Now, for those of us lucky enough to stay home today, they got to enjoy a little bit of a snow day and some snowball fights. This is in Denton Town Square. More than 100 students who got to go home early from class decided to get together and have some fun.
That's right. The guy who's been inside all day long watching the radar and in fact warned us about all this, Pete Delkus with more.
John, I used the word snowmageddon last night, jokingly on Twitter, but here we are, one of the largest snowfalls on record for Dallas-Fort Worth. So far, 7.3, the largest February snowfall ever, 7.5, and the largest ever recorded in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, 7.8. We are a half an inch away from tying the all-time one calendar day snowfall record here, and it looks like we'll probably get to it because we have several more inches of snow. Let me show you what I'm talking about. News 8 Dopplernet. To the west of Dallas, about 70 miles to the west of Fort Worth, snow continues to fall at a steady pace. As Gloria just pointed out, not as heavy as it was earlier, but still steady. That steady snow sticks around through about 9 o'clock tonight, and then we'll get into more scattered snow showers and scattered snow flurries. So with that said, here's your forecast. At 9 o'clock tonight, there's the back edge of our snow. By the time we get to the midnight hour, it starts to move in. Remember, it's just scattered. By 3 o'clock in the morning, we still have some flurries and some light snow around, but it's generally then to the east of Dallas. And then by 6 o'clock in the morning, Dallas and Fort Worth are dry, nothing falling from the sky, but East Texas will still be seeing some snow. How much additional snowfall? Remember, we've seen 5 to 10 inches already. We will pick up an additional 1 to 2 right here in the immediate Dallas-Fort Worth area. Lighter amounts off to the west of Fort Worth and slightly higher amounts to the east of Dallas. So that's how much additional snow you will pick up as we head through the remainder of the evening. Check out WeatherBug. Some great pictures here, especially Safety Town. You can see snow covered right now up in Frisco. The temperature's 31, winds at 11 give us a wind chill of 27 degrees. So we do have a wind chill in place. Weather team volunteers. St. Joe, Rob Haley, 8 inches of snow there. David Aud in Red Oak has picked up 7.5 in McKinney. Joel Younglove, 6 inches of snow, and in Double Oak, Weston Geisler has 5.5 inches of snow there. Other snowfall totals: Decatur 9, Denton 8.5. Fort Worth 6.5, Arlington 6, Dallas 6.5. There's that 7.3 at DFW, 7 at McKinney, 7 in Mesquite, 6.5 in Lancaster, 6 in Waxahachie, and 4.5 in Terrell, 5.5 in Greenville. Officially at DFW, there you go. So far 7.3, the high today 38, 32. Our low temperatures so far. We dipped there a few hours ago. Right now we've warmed a degree. We'll continue to drop back down tonight, but right now it is 33. Northeast winds at 9, a wind chill of 25 degrees. So the forecast has a winter storm warning in it for North Texas until midnight. Light additional snow likely. Another 1 to 2 inches in our forecast. Lighter amounts west of Fort Worth, higher amounts to the east of Dallas. 30. That's our temperature at 6 o'clock in the morning. So this mess on the roads right now, the snow, even a little bit of sleet, the rain, the melting snow, all the slush, it will freeze. Unfortunately for your morning rush tomorrow. I think we're going to have some big problems on area roadways tomorrow. Tomorrow, clouds most of the day, a high of 37, some late day sunshine in our forecast. The next 7 days, there you go. Saturday looks pretty nice. We'll have partly sunny skies, a high of 49. We'll have some sunshine on Sunday. It's Valentine's Day. Let's enjoy that. 45, cooler because a frontal move through. President's Day Monday, sunny and 49. And then we'll warm Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday next week. Dry weather and temperatures jump into the 50s. That'll be nice. Check out this picture from Nate Olgan and Allen. Nate sent in a real pretty picture there, the snow-covered trees. My thanks to him. And Aaron Byers. John and Gloria, take a look at this. This is on the KPMG building. You see that? Look at this, Gloria. Aaron says, can we go home yet? I'm giving her permission to go home. Aaron, you and everybody else can go home and enjoy the day. We're going to stay here and keep an eye on things. Snow continues to fall, guys. My thanks to everyone that has sent those pictures in. All of our weather team volunteers with all those snowfall numbers. Keep them coming. We're going to be here till 7 and News 8 at 10, just a few hours away.
Yeah, we've had some great pictures that have come into us. Hope to see more. Let's check back in on the roads with News 8 Daybreak traffic anchor Alexa Economos, who has been watching this, by the way, since this morning's Daybreak show. Alexa?
And I'll tell you what, right now we are seeing some problems really emerging with those interchanges and on-ramps because of patches of ice that have been reported. But before we get to that, we'll take a look at a couple of accidents. And wouldn't you know it, right near the High 5 in Dallas. So we'll take a look at our 3D animation right now. This is traveling eastbound from the High 5 over toward the Jupiter Road exit. We have this accident here, and this is a live look at it right now on the scene where we have the accident blocking that HOV lane and that left lane. And then more problems around Woodall Rogers with a couple of tractor trailers. And that one, the center of your screen at the top, that one is stuck right there. And that's what we're encountering throughout a lot of the Metroplex, these elevated interchanges and on-ramps, especially approaching the 35 Stedman's Highline area near Victory Park. That's going to be an issue as well. As in addition to some of our on-ramps around I-20 and 35, we have another stalled tractor trailer and a sand truck that's on its way. So for right now, those problems on the elevated surfaces have begun. As we check in right now with JamCam, that's traveling from Denton County toward the 635 LBJ interchange with southbound 35. And this is a look at what it's like from behind the wheel. Windshield wipers still going in earnest and travel slowing to about 30 miles an hour. So John and Gloria, right now as we see the temperatures change somewhat, we are beginning to experience those problems with ice patches on those interchanges and those bridges. We've got to take it slowly today.
That's right. Good advice. Thank you, Alexa. And we'll be right back.
Continuing coverage here, 6:30, this winter storm that is hitting North Texas. Here's a live picture. This is over downtown Dallas. The snow continuing to fall, and we'll be doing that for some time. Welcome back to our extended coverage. I'm John McKay.
And I'm Gloria Campos. We have team coverage on the North Texas storm, including all the closings and cancellations that we've gathered so far. Several school districts have already announced there will be no school tomorrow, and there you see the list. I'm going to go through with them, but we're going to keep them updated for you throughout the night. Now, we start Dallas, Fort Worth, Hurst Euless, Bedford, Keller, Springtown, Melissa, Northwest, Arlington, Mansfield, Lancaster, Cedar Hill, Birdville, McKinney, Midlothian, Crowley, Carroll, Sanger, Aubrey, Denton, Irving, Aledo, Waxahachie, Plano, UNT Denton is also closed tomorrow. Schools in Carrollton Farmers Branch say they'll be delayed 2 hours, and I understand we've also added Plano ISD. So once again, keep an eye on the bottom of your screen for more closures throughout the night, because we'll be updating this as we go along. Now, North Texas woke up to snow that started falling about 3 a.m. and 15 hours later, it's still coming down outside. Pete's predicting some 9 to 11 inches in some parts of the area by the time it's all over. Pete?
Absolutely right. This will go down as one of the largest snowfalls on record for DFW. Officially right now we're at 7.3 inches, okay? That is 0.2 of an inch away from the largest February snowstorm on record for the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and exactly 1/2 inch away from the largest snowstorm ever on record. So quite a snowfall, 7.3 right now. Take a look at News 8 Dopplernet. The light to, at times, moderate snow continues to come down here in the immediate Dallas-Fort Worth area, from Fort Worth up to Denton, on over to McKinney, down to Plano, Richardson, Garland, Irving. We're also looking at Duncanville and downtown Dallas. The snow continues to fall. When will it end? Let's zoom out on the radar. Let me show you what's happening to the west of us. Starting to taper off from Wichita Falls to Archer City, Graham to Breckenridge to Eastland, our far western counties. Nothing more than a few scattered snow showers and a few scattered snow flurries. That's what's to the west. By midnight tonight, that band of snow will start to come to an end. We'll still see snow falling here in Dallas, Fort Worth, Denton, Bridgeport, a little bit of snow, Mineral Wells and Granbury, it will still be snowing. But by 3 o'clock in the morning, it's starting to move away. It's starting to move east of Dallas, and then by 6 in the morning, the snow will be confined to East Texas. The Dallas-Fort Worth area will not be having anything falling from the sky, but all of the moisture that's on the ground, with temperatures dropping below freezing, close to 30 degrees, 29 in some locations, even colder than that in others. Temperatures dropping well below freezing means that all of that slush that's on the ground is going to cause some serious problems on area roadways. But how much more snow will we pick up? An additional 1 to 2 here in Dallas and Fort Worth, less than an inch to the west, and a little bit more than an inch, 2-4 inches possible east of Dallas as we head the rest of tonight. Temperatures right now hover at or a little bit below freezing. Fort Worth's at 32, Addison 32, Alliance 34, and Dallas is 33. So temperatures are cold, even colder weather overnight, and that means ice. I'll have more details on that and some warmer weather, some sunshine. Those details are coming up.
I sure hope they're coming up soon. Thanks a lot, Pete. There are some areas that drivers are going to want to avoid tonight, and it would be hard to find one that's higher on that list than the high 5. As history has shown us, the steep overpasses, well, they can become treacherous when the ice appears. So far, no ice there, but it is very slow going because of an earlier accident. Dangerous driving tonight all over North Texas. News 8 Daybreak traffic anchor Alexa Economos has been reporting on the traffic situation since News 8 Daybreak this morning. She's still here. Alexa, so how are the commuters doing right now?
Well, I'll tell you what, they are in for quite a slow go on the drive home tonight. It's probably packing on an extra 40 minutes to drive home. As we take a look outside right now, we do begin with the high 5. And right now, it's kind of a hazy shot right now, but that is the earlier accident traveling past the high 5 on that eastbound side of 635 LBJ that was around Jupiter and Kingsley, blocking that HOV lane that just cleared. So as we head back outside live right again now, we take a look at a couple of other problems that are emerging throughout the Metroplex. And the big story are those elevated interchanges, those off ramps and on ramps where tractor trailers are now beginning to become stuck. Right here in the Dallas area, right near Fuel City, we have a problem on Riverfront Boulevard, formerly Industrial Boulevard, with this tractor trailer trying to get onto 35, and traffic now slowing on 35 because of slick conditions just reported. Likewise, another stalled vehicle moving from downtown Dallas over toward North Park Shopping Center that's really going to slow traffic right around SMU and back it up right into the downtown Dallas area. More stalled tractor trailers along those major elevated interchanges, I-20 and 35E, as well as southbound Spur 408. Again, all of this in the Dallas County area moving toward I-20. So right now, again, still a lot of slush out there, some reduced visibility, but problems with ice patches beginning to form on those elevated surfaces. And that is going to be the story for the next several hours to come. John?
Thanks a lot, Alexa. got a short night. She's going to be joining the daybreak team tomorrow morning starting at 4:30 in the morning on 30 minutes early to get you updated when you first wake up.
Now, as you might imagine, and as we've been reporting, this weather's causing all sorts of different kinds of problems. Take a look at this. This is in Highland Park. Merrill Squires was getting ready to go work out, and he jumped in the car, and it just turned it on when this huge branch fell.
I called 911 because at one point I was spinning the car, but just love the city to come in and get it before the rest of the tree comes down on top of it.
Squires says he had to crawl out the back doors of his SUV to get out, but he's safe.
So far today, Fort Worth police have worked more than 200 accidents, and the Tarrant County Sheriff Courtesy Patrol has 3 roving units. They're out right now. Authorities expect to work at least triple the usual nightly number of calls tonight for help. They're considering the cold stranded drivers probably very happy that those courtesy officers are going to be out in force tonight.
So glad the Fort Worth Police Department is here at my rescue, and I love them to death.
Many of the accidents in Fort Worth happened on side streets where snow turned to some slippery slush. And power outages are growing tonight due to the weather. At last check, Encore had more than 40,000 customers that were in the dark and in the cold, I imagine. This is the problem, snow-covered tree limbs coming into contact with power lines. Encore has some crews trying to restore services.
Hundreds of canceled or delayed flights tonight, many of those in North Texas, and those cancellations mean some passengers are stranded tonight. And Channel 8's Brad Watson joins us live from DFW International Airport now with more on that. Brad?
Gloria, it has been a day of long waits here at DFW. Long waits for departures, long waits because of flights delayed, long waits because of flights that were just canceled. DFW says some 350 flights departures were canceled today. That means these long waits are going to extend into tomorrow. DFW has been busy de-icing some 400 planes today. The flights that did make it out. Of course, that means there were possible delays for those because planes stack up waiting to be de-iced. Some passengers faced canceled flights and scrambled to reschedule. Others hoped their flights would remain set this evening.
We're actually waiting for an 8 o'clock flight that will hopefully get us directly home to Hartford tonight, but we don't know until they tell us whether or not we're actually going to be able to leave this evening.
So you get to spend some time in sunny Texas.
Yeah, well, a lot of us didn't even bring winter coats from Connecticut. Actually, one of our travel mates doesn't even have a coat because we thought it would be warmer here.
Well, it's not. And actually, they said there was more snow yesterday in Connecticut. There was more snow here yesterday than there was in Connecticut, so they got really hit pretty hard. The airlines and passengers are hopeful that with snow ending overnight, they'll be able to catch up on some of these flights tomorrow. Live at DFW, Brad Watson, Channel 8 News.
All right. News 8 exclusive, how a simple snowball fight turned into a real fight at a North Texas high school.
First fire, now ice. Residents burned out of their homes last night now face losing the rest of their belongings to the weather.
And that's been going on all day long. Our Jam Cam is on the roads starting to ice up in some places. We'll be keeping you updated on that, and we'll be right back.
ISD officials are defending their decision to hold school today despite a chaotic scene at Skyline High School, which may have been the result of too little adult supervision. One student was hospitalized, at least one other was injured when a schoolyard snowball fight erupted into multiple fistfights. A News 8 camera was rolling as the violence escalated. At one point, the anger was turned toward us, yet security never engaged the students. Channel 8's Brett Shipp joins us now. Now, Brett, you were there when all of this happened. What did you think? I mean, it was chaotic at best.
It was very chaotic. We went to Skyline High School to do the story on whether the call to come to school today was a good idea. We'd talked to a teacher who said it was a bad idea because not enough teachers showed up. We talked to a parent who said it was a bad idea because it was a snow day, and the school district gives snow days. And then we were leaving the scene, and we drove around the back of the school, and we saw what looked like to be 300 to 400 kids in the backyard, and they in the back schoolyard throwing snowballs. And then the closer we looked, the more we realized this is what we were seeing, fight after fight after fight. And what we couldn't believe, Gloria, is that nowhere in sight was any adult. We were the only adults anywhere in sight. Actually, after about 10-15 minutes, Dallas police showed up, but they never exited their vehicles. And we finally calmed the crowd down by wading into the middle of it. Of course, we got pelted by snowballs, but this is the scene, fights after fights, and No adults out there to supervise, so it raises the question, was it a good idea to have school on what should have been or could have been a snow day for many of these kids? They were overly excited by all the snow and had so much energy that they took it out on each other in the schoolyard.
Now, Brett, I heard the young man you interviewed earlier say that they had been out there for a while. I mean, doesn't the bell ring? Don't they go to class? What was going on? What's that about?
Gloria, again, the word we got is that there were 50 staff members who didn't show up today out of 350 some odd teachers normally at that campus. And it was after the first period class, or during first period class, kids were texting each other and said, let's go out back and throw snowballs for over an hour. They threw snowballs at each other, and then when we arrived, the fight started, and security, we're told, had been retreating back inside of the school because kids were throwing snowballs at them. So instead of trying to break or, somehow corral this crowd, security just went back inside, and no vice principals or anybody showed up at all. And literally, we were the only adults out there, and it wasn't until we waited in the middle of the group that they finally dispersed and calmed down. But again, as we said earlier, one person injured, sent to the hospital, another kid possibly injured, and who knows how many bloody noses there were in the middle of this. It was pretty brutal, as you can see the video right there.
Yeah, I know earlier in some of your reporting you've talked about how the principal talked about holding somebody accountable for this in terms of the staff who didn't show up. Is that right?
Right. Well, the principal, Harold Wright, told me he was in the process of calling kids into his office, and he was in the process of trying to get to the bottom of it. And he said also adults will be held accountable too. But I got to believe that the buck stops with the principal, and the principal will also be called into question at some point as to how this all happened underneath his nose and literally in his backyard, John.
Yeah, DISD used to have, and I think still has, a policy where the principal is the building leader.
Right.
So that's.
And Brett, I understand this is one of the largest high schools in the city, if not the state, in the area. It's huge.
We're told 5,000 students are on that campus, or 4,500 students on that campus. So yeah, there needs to be more supervision on snow days if the kids are going to show up.
Obviously. Thank you so much, Brad, for that report. Now, a fire at a North Texas apartment complex destroys 8 units.
But tonight we hear from one of the people who've been displaced, but happy they're able to get out in time.
Well, we're in the middle of one of the largest snowstorms on record here for the Dallas-Fort Worth area. More snow in the forecast. I'll tell you when it will end. Your weekend outlook, too. It's all coming up.
Of course, we continue to monitor traffic across North Texas. Channel 8's Craig Savali joins us now live from I-35. Craig?
Hey, John, we're at I-35 right at Main Street in Louisville, and as you can tell, the snow's still coming down here in Louisville. As for the interstate itself, it's been running along pretty smoothly. Take a look for yourself. The cars going about speed limit at this point. We've noticed maybe just a slight cutback on that. As you come a little closer to us, the service road right at Main Street, you're noticing the streets there have a lot more buildup on it, a lot more slush on it. The cars are starting to hit their tail lights as they're coming down, encountering a lot more of that sludge. You can take a look down here. This is what they're encountering. This is how much snow they had down here. This is going up to your ankles. It's looks about 5 inches right here. And as we head a little bit deeper into the night, as we've been talking about, we've heard Pete talking about, this is what they're concerned about, seeing a lot of this sludge, this slush on the roadway as the temperatures go down, possibly freezing up here on some of these service roads, on these overpasses, and that's what they'll be watching here in Louisville as we head into the night. That is the latest live in Louisville. Craig Savali, Channel 8 News.
All right, lots of problems out there, and they're continuing too.
Yeah, it's not going to be good. Pete, I guess you'll have a better handle now when it might end finally.
Gloria, I have had a handle on this all day long. Let me tell you. I tell you what a snowstorm, huh? The largest one on record here in Dallas-Fort Worth. We're a ½ an inch. All-time record, and we have several more hours of snow in our forecast, so it looks really good that we're going to, when you get this much, why not make it a record, okay? So, and I think that's the direction we're going. Let me show you what's happening outside right now, and you saw Craig just a second ago. You saw the snow coming down at his location. Starting to get a few flurries in our westernmost area. The snow's starting to break up, but we have several more hours, at least another 3 hours here in Dallas of steady snow, another 2 hours of steady snow in Fort Worth. So it's going to continue to pile up. Look what we've had so far. St. Joe, Rob Haley, 8.5. Argyle, Kevin Sanders, 8.3. Weston Geisler in Double Oak, 6 inches. In Flower Mound, just to the south of Double Oak, Paul Beck has picked up 5.5 inches of snow. Dallas has picked up 6.5, Fort Worth 7, there's 8.5 in Denton, 7.5 in McKinney, 7 in Mesquite, Terrell 5, Greenville's picked up 6, 6 at Executive, 6.5 in Lancaster, and 6 inches of snow in Waxahachie. Look at Prince of Peace School in Plano. Here's a pretty picture on WeatherBug, isn't it? The temperature's 34, 5-mile wind chill of 28. Right now at DFW, this is the critical part of the forecast. At DFW right now, we're at 33 degrees. By 9 o'clock, we'll drop to 32. At midnight, we'll continue to fall to 31, and by 6 tomorrow morning, when you head out to work, temperatures will fall to 30 degrees. So all of this slush that are on area roadways, that's going to freeze, and that's just what the forecast has in it. Winter storm warning now until 3 o'clock in the morning. That's the 6 a.m. temperature, 30. Light snow is likely. An additional 1 to 2 inches of snow right here in Fort Worth and Dallas. Lighter amounts to the west of Fort Worth, higher amounts to the east of Dallas, but additional snow in our forecast for the next several hours. Tomorrow we'll hit 37, so a lot of the snow and the ice that will form tomorrow morning, that will melt. Maybe a little bit of late day sun. Let's look forward to that. There's your next 7 days. Saturday, some sun and 49, 45 Sunday on Valentine's Day. Monday's President's Day, sunny and 49, then 50s in our forecast next week. Here's Ann Carter in Dallas. My thanks to Ann for this picture. Lives in Dallas. Look at the Dallas Baptist University, the building there. Blake Killingsworth sent this in, a beautiful picture from DBU. My thanks to all the folks there. And the Arnold family sent in a snowman, Dale Hansen size, Gloria. How about that picture? My thanks to everyone for helping tonight. We'll be back on News 8 at 10 and have comprehensive coverage of this big storm.
All right, fun for them, but no fun last night for a lot of folks. 3 alarms and $750,000 damaged. The outcome of a spectacular fire at a large North Dallas apartment complex Wednesday night. Byron Harris has more now.
Last night at Preston Park Apartments, flames lit up the sky in a night that wouldn't be fit for man or beast. Today, the beasts and their owners are happy. Soto and Milo watched out for their neighbor Marcia Ward, who made it out fine on her electric scooter while the apartment above burned up.
She won't be able to get back into her apartment because the apartment above her got really damaged, and they want her to be safe.
The owner to get debris removal underway. They've relocated some residents elsewhere at Preston Park. The remainder are staying with friends. Workers building nearest the blaze. Firemen kicked them in to get residents out in case the fire spread. 8 units and most of their contents were destroyed. Even Milo, nervous because of the hammering in his house, is recovering.
He just stayed in my lap, but he was shaking, and I don't think it was just the cold, so it's okay.
Byron Harris. Talk about this 10 years from now. Somebody.
We'll be right back. From flurries to a fast accumulation.
Tonight, the pressure gets to be too much. Snow snaps trees, disrupts power, and collapses carports.
Plus campus chaos. News 8 caught this fight. Tonight we know it wasn't the only one at a DISD school. Beautiful today, but treacherous tomorrow.
The problem when you wake up, all that slush that's on the roads right now, that's going to be ice. Good evening. I'm John McKay.
And I'm Gloria Campos. Most of our major school districts are closed tomorrow. We'll be scrolling all of them at the bottom of your screen. But here's some of the closings in some of our largest districts: Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, Plano, Frisco, and Denton ISDs will have no school tomorrow, Friday. Late tonight, Carrollton, Rockwall, and Richardson ISD were added to the list. And once again, every district will be scrolled at the bottom of the screen throughout our entire newscast.
Our chief meteorologist, Pete Delkus, joins us. He's in the Weather Center. So, Pete, we're already hearing that the ice is forming on some bridges.
Yeah, it's already forming, John. Temperatures have dropped to the freezing mark, and at this point, those schools have closed for good reason. This is the largest snowfall ever recorded in the Dallas Dallas-Fort Worth area. Officially, at this point, and it's still snowing, 9.4 inches of snow. That shatters the old record of 7.8. Let me show you what's happening out there right now. And there's News 8 Dopplernet. The snow is still coming down at a light to a moderate clip. At times, we're occasionally seeing some heavier snow. These shaded areas, these gray shaded areas within the white, that's the moderate snow that's occurring right now. That's happening in Denton County, Tarrant County, also Wise County. The same thing in Collin County, Dallas County, Rockwall and Kaufman County. But look what's happening to the west. We're starting to see the end in sight. So a little bit of hope here on the horizon. The snow is starting to end. And as we zoom out in that direction, you'll be able to see that portions of Jack County are drying out. The same thing Graham down to Breckenridge, Eastland and Stephenville. We're starting to see the end of the snow, but we still here in the Fort Worth, Dallas area have several more hours of snow. Let me give you the forecast. This is at midnight. The snow is still in place. It's winding down back to the west of us at 3 in the morning. We're on the back edge of it. By 6 o'clock in the morning, we should be dry, but not before. From Gainesville to Denton on down to Fort Worth, we pick up around an inch or so or less, and then Dallas to McKinney to Plano down to Corsicana and east of there, an additional 1 to 2 inches, and still heavier snow in far east Texas. So a lot more snow on our forecast. But the critical element to this forecast are the temperatures. And take a look at this. 32 degrees right now. By midnight, we'll hover right around that freezing mark. And then at 3 o'clock in the morning, we'll drop to 31. About the time you're thinking about heading out to work tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, temperatures are going to drop to 30 degrees. And with all of the moisture that we have on the ground right now, a lot of slushes out there. We have seen reports, Hazlitt, for example, has over a foot of snow, 12.2 right now. That's Tarrant County. All that slush is going to freeze. Icing is already occurring. It will only worsen during the overnight. I'll be back in a few minutes. More details. I have sunshine in the forecast and warmer temperatures. That information, your weekend outlook, coming up.
All right, Pete, the News 8 Daybreak begins tomorrow morning early. We'll have traffic conditions, weather, and school closings. It's going to start tomorrow at 4:30 a.m.
Tonight we have crews scattered all over North Texas. Chris Hawes is live in Fort Worth, where the weight of snow is the biggest problem. Jason Whiteley is in Dallas, where chaos erupted on campus. Gary Reeves also in Dallas, monitoring the roads and the transition of the slush to solid ice. Of course, traffic is a major concern right now, and of course, as we head on to the morning. Now let's take a look at the streets right now. This is our jam cam. It's live traveling northbound on 75 in Dallas, and photojournalist Billy Bryant joins us. Billy, can you describe the conditions that you're finding on the highway right now?
Gloria, thank you. It's like driving in deep, wet sand. It's very, it's not ice for sure, but there are grooves in the road, and when you brake, you tend to slide a bit. The one thing that I've noticed that caught my attention was from Lover's Lane on up to, I'm coming up on Forest Lane now. There have been transformers to the right of me and to the left of me popping as if in a thunderstorm or a windstorm. Bright green flashes in the sky. Probably seen 6 at this point, so I'm not sure, power conditions, but it's like driving in deep, wet sand.
Well, we'll have to check into that. Thank you, Billy. How fast are you moving right now?
Going about 40 now, and there's a few people, as you can probably see, that are brave and passing me on the left, but we're going about 40 miles an hour right now, just to be safe.
All right, thank you very much. That's Billy Brighton, traveling north on 75 at Forest Lane, getting near 635.
The safest way around on a day like this may not be the way you think. Channel 8's Gary Reeves is live at the High Five, where conditions have gotten worse within just the last hour. Gary?
Thanks, John. We are live at the High Five, and as you look up behind me and you look at it, there's not a single car up there. It is frozen. It has now been shut down. That's just one example of the kind of road conditions that folks are having to deal with here. But if you look down at US 75, the highway, traffic there is still moving. That's because that road's actually touching the ground. The ground underneath is a little bit warmer. It hasn't frozen, at least not yet. But the third thing that people are going to have to worry about, and this is what makes this storm different, is what's going on the city streets. Where we're standing is on Churchill Way, and what we've got here on the city streets, hear it? That's slush.
Seeing the snow blot out the skyline is rare enough in North Texas, but with the temperature hovering just above freezing, city streets this time look more like a convenience store slushie. With so much traffic driving over the snow, very little stuck to the major highways. They looked more like the aftermath of a rainstorm. TxDOT crews had little to do but wait and hope the water doesn't turn into black ice. But city streets are a different story. With less traffic, the slush piles up. It's thick enough to remove with a snowplow, if Texas cities had them.
Normally we don't get this kind of weather, and the city is not equipped for snow plowing.
Okay. Do we have a single snowplow?
No, we don't.
The city has nothing in its arsenal that works against slush. Up to 60 sand trucks are ready to go, but salt and sand would just make the slush salty and gritty.
Even if you put the sand there, it is going to be buried in this water and freeze over that, so it won't give you any traction.
So all day the sand trucks roam their routes, waiting for temperatures to drop, so the slush will turn to ice. Then the challenge will be to get the sand and salt down before the morning rush.
Coming back live here, check this out. So you can see why there's no point in them trying to put any salt and sand down on this stuff yet. But it's getting colder. This is the temperature is, as Pete is telling us it's going to be, this is all going to be frozen when you wake up in the morning, and it's going to be thick. So side streets are going to be bad. What we're really afraid of is all those places on the highway where it looks like there's hardly any snow, or it's just a little bit of water. That's what turns into that glare black ice. So hard to predict anything, but very treacherous conditions tomorrow. When you get up in the morning, right now, depending on where you are, it's already getting pretty bad. Reporting live from the High Five, Gary Reeves, Channel 8 News.
Now, today's snow caused some unexpected chaos at a Dallas ISD school. A snowball fight escalated into fist fights, many of them. Tonight, new information. Since we saw you at 6, we've learned the scene played out at more than one campus today. One high school went into lockdown. Another had to call police and paramedics. Only News 8 captured one of the big brawls on camera. Channel 8's Jason Whiteley joins us live with the exclusive video and what the district says led to it. Jason?
Gloria, right now, Dallas ISD confirms both incidents. One of them happened at Woodrow Wilson High School. Dozens of students between classes got into a snowball fight. We're told it quickly escalated into a fist fight. That school went into lockdown. A few miles away in Pleasant Grove, Skyline High School, a much bigger brawl, one which News 8 caught on tape.
In the field behind Skyline High School, dozens, perhaps hundreds of students skipped classes. We thought it was a snowball fight until we saw this, a fist fight. Not just one, a half dozen. Students slugging each other, knocking classmates to the ground, all captured on camera by News 8.
They started something friendly, but people get ignorant. They just start messing around and throwing gang signs and stuff.
Not just gang signs, students threw punches. The melee lasted more than an hour, and Dallas ISD security, not an officer in sight.
This is why we shouldn't have school on snow days.
Why is that?
Because ain't nobody gonna be paying attention in class when the weather's like this outside.
Students told us they texted each other to meet outside during lunch, but the snowball fight quickly escalated. Paramedics even took one student to the hospital.
I don't know what their thoughts are, but I don't think they should be here today.
So where was security? Adults, teachers? Questions we put to Dallas ISD.
We're concerned that several staff members didn't show up today, which obviously was part of the catalyst for this taking place. There wasn't enough supervision for those students.
Turns out 50 teachers did not show up. 13% of Skyline's 365 educators, leaving these kids unsupervised and at least one with a trip to the hospital.
Tonight, Dallas ISD says there will be consequences. Officials say they know who was involved in all this, and come Monday, once classes resume, those individuals will be held accountable. Reporting live in Dallas, Jason Whiteley, Channel 8 News.
You know, we've had 16 hours of snow. That's created some interesting situations. Here's a look around town. In Dallas, the weight of the snow is toppling trees. This one landed on an SUV. And in Fort Worth, canopies over a car dealership buckled under the weight. This tree brought traffic to a standstill. In Denton, more than 100 people took part in a massive snowball fight. This is the town square. Had a pretty similar scene in Frisco. You can see the snow really coming down in these pictures.
And de-icing is underway at Love Field and DFW airports tonight. Southwest has pre-canceled 10 flights already for tomorrow. American has canceled its first 500 flights for tomorrow. No flights will leave before 9 a.m.
And tonight, 70,000 North Texans are without electricity. Problem is blamed on snow-covered tree limbs that are coming into contact with power lines. Encore crews are busy working overtime to restore that power.
We've had many reports of collapses under the weight of today's snow, from cars crushed in Coppell and Arlington, trees splitting everywhere, and now word from TxDOT that the roads in Tarrant County are icing over. Chris Haas joins us live in Fort Worth with the conditions there. Chris?
Well, you're right. As temperatures are falling and as traffic is lessening, we are seeing those roads begin to get icy. And that, combined with the weight of the snow on trees next to streets, is a double danger.
It was a picture-perfect, peaceful afternoon until a crack and a roar was heard in this Fort Worth neighborhood just west of downtown.
The tree split. Half of it was on this side and the other half, I would say about 30 minutes later, it fell on the car.
All I was doing is sleeping in my rocking chair, and then somebody came and told me my car is buried.
It's one of at least 16 trees to lose the battle with Mother Nature in Fort Worth, creating dangerous situations emergency crews hurry to handle before nightfall.
It's our live oaks that tend to be getting the brunt of it, and any other evergreen broadleaf trees like magnolias. So those leaves are capturing all that snow and weighting it down.
What starts out light and fluffy quickly becomes very heavy. 1 square foot of snow, around a foot deep, weighs about 5 pounds.
In South Fort Worth, the heavy snow destroyed tents at this car dealership. Fortunately, the owner moved the cars on Wednesday. In Irving, 4 carports at this apartment complex gave way to the snow, sending it teetering to one side. And the same thing happened in Arlington at this complex. Residents rushed to scrape the snow away. And in Coppell, a carport collapsed, damaging or trapping 11 cars. This woman heard the bang and came outside. As it turned out, her car was the only one untouched.
It's a great little car. Thank God she's small and short. And just to give you an idea of how common those carport collapses were, even as we were talking to that woman that you just saw, another carport collapsed on the other side of that same complex. In Fort Worth, Chris Haas, Channel 8 News.
Drivers are being told the money isn't there to fix North Texas roads, so why are some contractors pocketing millions in bonus profits?
Plus, Deborah Medina makes a controversial comment about who may be to blame for the 9/11 attacks.
And all-star snow. Will the weather affect this weekend's big events?
This is a day we are all going to long remember. Record snowfall we've had. Huh?
Yeah, I talked to some folks tonight, and they said, you know, I just can't remember ever seeing this. I said, well, it's because it's never happened.
Yeah.
I mean, we have never seen this much snowfall in North Texas before. I want you to take a look, at least in the immediate Dallas-Fort Worth area. This is the largest snow on record ever recorded in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, 9.4 inches, and that's the latest information I have from the National Weather Service. Knowing the rate of snow, we're probably closer to 10 inches right now. Now, the old record was 7.8 inches, so we have currently shattered that and will only continue to go up. It's also the second snowiest February on record with 9.4 inches of snow. And listen to this, the 4th snowiest winter on record. It's been 32 seasons since we've had a lot of snow. Back in the winter of 77 and 78, we had 17.5 inches of snow. That's the #1 snowiest winter. Right now, we're the 4th snowiest on record with a little bit more than 12.5. And there you go, John and Gloria. The snow continues to fall from Denton County in through Collin County down to Dallas County. You see these gray shaded areas here within the white? That's the moderate snow. So bands of moderate snow are moving through North Texas. And as we zoom out a little bit, let me show you a wider view of what's happening across the area. A little wider view shows that we're going to get a break back here. So this is the end of the snow. But remember, we have several more hours to move through before it's all said and done. But as of right now, check out some of these weather team volunteers and their snowfall totals. Up in St. Joe and Montague County, Rob Haley called in with 10 inches of snow there. Nell Durr in DeSoto has picked up 9 inches. In Forney, Robert Bailey has picked up 9. And in Dalworthington Gardens, John Bergdorf has had 8.5 inches of snow. Other snowfall totals, other locations, look at Denton, 12 inches. At Alliance, that's actually just outside of Alliance and Hazlitt, they've picked up 12.2. In Fort Worth, these are National Weather Service employees who know how to measure this stuff. They have recorded reported 11.8, 9 inches in Arlington, 8 in Addison. There's that 9.4 at DFW. Dallas, 7.5, 9 at Executive, 8.5 at Lancaster, 8.8 in Waxahachie, 7 Mesquite, 8 inches in Terrell. So significant snow has indeed fallen. More in the forecast. But the question right now is, why so much snow with this storm? And that's where Steve McCauley is. And Steve's in the Weather Center back at Young Street.
That's right, Pete. We actually had quite a bit more snow than what we were calling for, and there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, the storm system was actually stronger than anticipated, but there's more to it. Take a look at this. If you're with us last night, we were talking about how we would see a mixture of rain and snow starting this entire event shortly before daybreak this morning. And this morning at around 4 o'clock, temperatures were around 37 degrees. That is ideal conditions to get a mixture of rain and snow here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And the forecast was for that to continue for several hours, not accumulating at all until around the lunchtime hour. However, from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, the temperature went from 37 to 32 degrees, down to freezing. That means our rain and snow mixture quickly changed back over to all snow, and that all snow continued right through this evening. That's why we got a big head start with this snowfall, and that's why we're seeing the record-breaking amounts of snow all across the North Texas area. And it looks like it's going to be continuing at least for the next couple of hours here in Dallas and Fort Worth, and other places a little bit longer than that. What do you have for us, Pete?
I tell you what, Steve, I want to give everyone the timeline. I appreciate that explanation. At midnight tonight, the snow is still on top of us. At 3 o'clock in the morning, it's starting to pull away. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, it's in East Texas. But the snow will leave behind a lot of moisture. In addition to what you've already picked up, an additional inch or less here for Gainesville to Bridgeport down to Mineral Wells and Fort Worth. 1 to 2 from McKinney to Plano to Dallas to Corsicana, and then higher amounts in East Texas. At 7 o'clock in the morning, temperatures are going to fall below freezing. At 3 o'clock, we're going to hit 31, and then at 6 o'clock will be about 30 degrees. So the slush that's on the ground, and there's a large amount of that will turn into ice as we head through the overnight. Winter storm warning has been now extended until 6 o'clock in the morning for all of North Texas. 30 for the low tonight. That's your 6 to 7 a.m. temperature. Light snow will continue, an additional 1 to 2 inches, less west of Fort Worth, more east of Dallas. Otherwise, tomorrow we'll only make it to 36, maybe some late day sunshine. The weekend right now looks dry. Saturday 46, Valentine's Day Sunday, dry and 45. President's Day on Monday, 48, and then we hit into the 50s next week. My thanks to the lovely Mrs. Hanson for sending this picture
beautiful.
in. Waxahachie. Don't they live in a nice place down there, Gloria? About 15,000 acres down in Waxahachie. That is Dale's car. And look at this. Sarah Odd sent this in from Red Oak. A lot of snow in Red Oak, about 9 inches. My thanks to Sarah. And the last one from Lily Haley up in St. Joe. Her dad said 10 inches, and quite the snowman right there.
That's
My
a big
thanks to
one.
everybody.
Thanks a lot. You know what? The snow may have kept some people away from today's NBA All-Star events.
But many believe the weather may actually boost attendance over the weekend. That story's ahead. Snow is not stopping the NBA All-Star events. The parties are underway, even though the weather caught many fans by surprise. News 8's Rebecca Lopez is at a kickoff event tonight with singer Mary J. Blige. Rebecca?
Well, that's right. Mary J. Blige is, in fact, performing right now, and Mario Lopez is here. A lot of stars are here. Some of the Dallas Mavericks are here. In fact, Dirk Nowitzki's here. We have just learned that, in fact, he is going to be starting in Sunday's NBA All-Star Game, so he will start at the game here in his hometown. And while the stars are out, so are some of the fans, but not in the record-breaking numbers that the NBA was hoping for tonight.
NBA All-Star Weekend kicked off to a soggy, snowy, and cold start. Some out-of-town fans weren't prepared for this weather.
Not at all. I thought it was going to be sunny, just a little breeze, but I wasn't expecting the snow.
Maria and David Chavez brought their little boy to the jam session, even though they had to bundle up.
I had already bought the tickets, and I wasn't going to lose them. I don't get no refund.
Those who braved the elements say it was worth it because the turnout was low. This fan got Mavs autographs without waiting.
There was hardly anybody in there. I actually thought there was going to be a lot of people there.
Mark Cuban joked the weather was actually part of his plan to get people to the events on Friday.
You make it snow really, really heavy, so they have to close all the schools tomorrow. Then you make the weather get to 40 degrees by noon tomorrow. All these kids, no place to go. Where do they go? Jam session. Jam session!
Meanwhile, businesses hoping to cash in on big crowds are banking on better weather this weekend.
but I think by tomorrow, Friday and Saturday, it'll be rolling just great.
Dallas police are also counting on bigger crowds. They're keeping hundreds of extra officers on the streets.
The jam session is actually going to start 2 hours earlier tomorrow instead of 4. It will open at 2. And if you had tickets and you couldn't use them tonight because of the bad weather, they will be honored tomorrow. Reporting live, Rebecca Lopez, Channel 8 News.
All right, and we'll be right back.